This meeting is being recorded.
Ooh, wow. All right, that was this meeting is being recorded. Hi, this is Anne again from the Quarantine Theater Company. Welcome back. We've got a fun and spooky read tonight. One of my favorite horror movies is The Conjuring, which is going to be exciting. Doing the heavy lifting with scene description tonight, and because we had a last minute dropout, we've got Travis as scene description, and she's going to be Carolyn Perrin. He's going to be Carolyn Perrin, not she. Sorry, Travis. Jesus Christ. It's going to be great. We've got Logan joining us again. He's going to be our Ed Warren. We have a George as Roger Perrin. And last but not least at all, we've got Rudy, and he's going to be Andrea and David and a couple other people. We're all playing multiple duties tonight. So without further ado, take it away, Travis.
Thank you, Anne. Circle of Confusion will call Confusion The Conjuring by Hayes Brothers. Los Angeles, New York. Yeah, we get it. For our struggle is not against the flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of the dark world, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Ephesians 6:12. The following is based on a true story. Fade in on a horse's hooves pounding on a muddy dirt road, widened to see they belong to a team of horses pulling a wagon. At the reins is Judson Sherman, early 20s, a ranch hand around the same age, rides next to him, by the way. They're dressed in the style of the wagon wear somewhere in the late 1800s. Judson's leading the team towards a two-story English-style farmhouse with a covered porch in the distance. Maple and hickory trees tower around it. Dull light stabs out from several windows. Smoke plums from the fireplace. A large barn stands 50 yards away. Lightning cracks across a violent dark sky as sunrise is just starting to break through the horizon. Judson pulls out a golden pocket watch. Reads 5:15. As he pushes his watch away, he hears something, cocks his head. There it is again, a baby wailing. But this isn't a "I'm hungry" or tired cry. This is swelling, eruptions of excruciating pain. Judson cracks the reins hard. The horses rear, then bolt like they're shot of the cannon, kicking up mud as they thunder faster to the house. The walls are almost more than Judson can take as he dives the team right to the front door and reins back hard, hopping off the wagon before it comes to a halt. Then, just as he gets to the front porch, the wailing stops. He doesn't move to the front door, whips it open. A large gray cat scrambles to get the hell out of there, almost trips as he heads in. Interior farmhouse foyer continuous. Judson's attention is immediately drawn to a living room on his right where the shadows of flames from the fireplace dance wickedly. Off the horrified look on his face, he just stares into it, almost unable to comprehend what he's seeing. Wood crackles. As his tears well slowly moves deeper into the room, it's as if time has stood still for him. Interior living room continuous. As he gets closer and closer to the fireplace, the orange of the fire gets brighter on his face, the crackling louder. He stops before the earth, then looks to his feet, where a pair of long, narrow knitting needles lie on the wood floor in the puddle of blood. He's emotionally devastated. He's his peripheral vision, my bad, picks up something outside, moving quickly past a window. Rage fills his face. He pivots, dashes back out of the front door, where exterior farmhouse, front porch, it continuous. Justin leaps off the porch, dashes by the ranch hand, who's reining in the horses that seem spooked. He picked up speed as he moves around the side of the house, where he sees a woman in a long gray dress, bare feet, and lengthy jet black hair dashing into the barn and closing the door behind her. Judson gets to the barn, tries to open the door, but it won't budge. He viciously pulls on the handle over and over, testing the lock and hinges, then finally throws the shoulder on it, breaking it open. Interior barn continues. Judson races in, stops, and listens. It's cave dark, the dawn light only penetrating the first few feet of the opening. Then, just as he's about to move in the deeper, the back end of a thick shovel swings out of the inky black and whack hits Justin in the face. Smack cuts to black. 1972, exterior farmhouse, Harrodsville, Rhode Island. Dig. 1970s wood paneled station wagon with New Jersey plates drives down a gravel driveway.
Here we are.
100 yards back now, much older is the same. Two-story farmhouse and barn. Trees have grown. It's been well cared for. The station wagon comes to a stop in front of the house. Getting out is the driver, Roger Perion. Oh, yes, a lean man in his early 30s. His wife, Carolyn, who's simply dressed with her hair pulled back, also early 30s. Hopping off the back are their two girls, Andrea 17, Cindy 17, 7 and 15. Jeez. Then a family black lab, Sadie. Everyone is excited except for Cindy, a mixture of raging hormones and adolescence. She takes in her surroundings. Oh my God, this place looks so boring. We're like in the middle of nowhere. As Andrea enthusiastically runs over to the porch, Roger turns to Carolyn.
Do you hear that?
She listens, but I don't hear anything. A slow growing smile cracks across his face.
Exactly.
Carolyn looks over to open space between the house and the barn. I see where I'm putting my garden. Exterior farmhouse, porch right after. Carolyn and the girls are next to Roger as he opens the door. Andrea dashes in.
I get first dibs on the rooms.
Cindy looks to her dad as she enters. Do I get to pick up my own room, or do I have to no choice in that too? Roger's eye meets Carolyn, who seems amused. This is why some animals eat their young. She gives Roger a quick kiss, and as she enters, he playfully slaps her on the butt. Ooh! Roger turns to see Sadie standing several feet back, staring in through the open door. There's a deep intensity behind her dark eyes, her body rigid. Roger is confused.
Come on, girl.
Sadie takes a reserved step backwards, keeps staring.
Sadie, come on.
The dog remains still, has no intention of getting any closer. Roger lets it go.
Dumb dog.
Interior Perron house foyer, afternoon. Roger stands in the foyer, which opens to a hallway that runs through the middle of the house. A staircase raises up one side. There's a kitchen to his left and living room to his right. Boxes are everywhere. It's a big hive of activity. Two burly movers carefully maneuver a wooden gun case in through the front door.
Oh, that goes in the living room.
Of course. They make the turn on another mover, follows them and carrying a heavy box. Roger reads something handwritten across it.
Just put that down in the cellar. It's the last door at the end of the hall there.
Dissolved to Imperial Kitchen later that night. Carolyn stands at the counter next to a sink, unpacking several knickknacks from a box surrounding the glass cabinet are all and already loaded with dishes. A large oak table and chairs are set up in the nook with a hunch tucked tight against a well opposite it. Carolyn peels off packing paper from 3 wax monkeys. A wooden stand hands over eyes, ears, and mouth with a written caption underneath. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. She sets it to a window ledge over the sink. Andrea comes in carrying a handmade bird feeder and a chain that only a mother could love.
Can I hang my bird feeder?
Of course, I think I saw a hook on the back porch. Andrea moves to a back door. At least she moves somewhere. Interior Perron house back porch night continues. Andrea comes outside. Bugs have already started to use the porch light as a hub. A low mist hangs above the ground like a bad dream. She sees the hook her mom was talking about and carries the feeder over to it. As she gets up on her tippy toes to hang it, a hiss of a voice calls her name. Ooh. She slowly turns her head, can't figure out where it's coming from as she scans the darkness.
Hello?
No answer. More confused than scared, she hangs up the bird feeder. Then, just as about to get inside, she spots a large mangy-looking gray cat passing by the bottom step of the porch. It looks only similar to the one in the opening.
Oh, hello.
It continues walking. She heads down the steps to catch up.
Where do you come from? Come here, kitty.
The cat walks around the corner of the house. Andrea's POV. As she walks around the corner, there's no cat. She looks around for a place it could have gone, but there isn't one. Her expression says it all. That's weird. Interior kitchen back door right after. Andrea comes in just as Rogers enters from the hallway in passing.
Were you calling me?
No.
As she walks away,
I think there's a cat that lives here.
Andrea continues out of the kitchen as Roger comes up behind Caroline, who is unpacking a small clock, sets it on the windowsill next to the monkeys. He slides his arm around and kisses her neck. She likes it. Careful. This may turn into something, fun.
If only I had the energy. I was thinking about running into town and grabbing a pizza at that place we passed.
That'd be great. She turns and faces him. Loves this man dearly. Oh, thank you for this. I know it was a lot for us to chew off of, but it's going to be great, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But you're too tired, so it's not. Interior Howard's master bedroom night. A matching bedroom set has been set up. Numerous boxes are stacked and waiting to be unpacked as Carolyn pulls up some clothes from a wardrobe box at the foot of her bed and walks them into the closet. Just as she begins to hang them up, the noise of cheeky wood draws her attention to the ceiling, where it sounds like some creaking wood, trying to walk quietly. Then it stops. She's a little unnerved, walks around behind it, the bedroom, and crosses to a nearby window, looks out to a tree. It leaves rustles in the wind. She cranes her head to see if any kind of the branches are touching the roof above the closet. Can't tell. Just as she's about to turn away, she notices Sadie down in the yard near the front porch below, nervously pacing back and forth.
I don't know what her problem is. I've tried 10 times to get her to come inside.
She turns and sees Roger setting the box down amongst the others.
Oh, last box for tonight. I'm beat.
We can't just leave her out there. She might run away.
I'll find something to tether her to. Maybe a night outside will help change her mind.
As Roger heads back out. You weren't just on the roof, were you? He turns around. Huh? I heard something sounded like footsteps.
It's an old house, honey. It's going to make some noises.
The lights flicker for a moment.
Oh, great.
Maybe grab a flashlight, too. Roger heads down, dissolved to interior master bedroom later. Carolyn's eyes open. She's awakened to what sounds like the distant screams of hundreds of children, but that can't be right. She glances to Roger, who is sound asleep. She slips out of the bed to investigate. Cut to an exterior house, back porch right after. Caroline comes to the house, listens. It's much louder. Her attention is drawn to the woods directly behind the house where their screaming is coming from. A hand touches her shoulder. She is about to jump off her skin. She whirls. Roger is standing right behind her.
Whoa, sorry.
Caroline slowly turns back around to face the woods. What is that?
Tree frogs. About as big as softballs. They're fucking.
She looks back at him over her shoulder. And you know this because...
I used to catch them as a kid at my granddad's.
Carolyn looks back out into the night. Sounds like some pretty rough sex. Roger playfully pulls her into an embrace. Ooh.
I think it's going to take some time for this city girl to get used to this country living.
I think you're right. She snuggles up. You still too tired?
Those frogs make you horny?
Oh, yeah. No, you do. As they head in, Carolyn's gaze drifts back over her shoulder once more into the darkness, still slightly uneasy. Cut to exterior house later. Clouds have moved in, swallowing an illumination from the moon and stars, giving the house an ill bodily presence. The frogs have stopped, because clearly the action stopped, replaced by a lingering, unholy silence. That's how bad it was. Interior house upstairs hallway morning. Carolyn, wearing a robe, comes out of the bedroom beside steps a few boxes. Morning light streaks through several windows, illuminating the fact of the Purons are far from unpacked. The bedroom door opens and Sadie sticks her head out.
Psst, that's still you, Travis.
Oh, it is. I'm Cindy. Oh, yeah. Do you think maybe we should have brought a house that has a toilet that works? Tell your dad. As Caroline walks away. And there's this really funky smell in my bedroom last night, like something died. Is it there now? No. Problem solved. Man, am I a good parent? Cindy rolls her eyes and then retreats back into the bedroom. Cut to interior house stairs right after. As Caroline passes a clock at the base of the stairs, she notices that it reads 5:15 a.m. She stops, checks her watch, resets the clock to 7:38 a.m. Interior kitchen right after. Caroline crosses a packing box on the counter, digs a kettle out of it. She moves to the sink and she turns out the water to fill it. She freezes it on the window ledge. Before are the three wax monkeys, but inside of being lined up in a row like they were before, they are now facing each other. Their heads are all mounted into one like some deformed creature. And then she notices the small clock she put up them has stopped at 5:15 as well.
Mommy, where's Sadie?
Caroline turns to see Andrea staying at the kitchen door. She's out front. Why don't you see if she'll come in? She's got to be hungry. Andrea tears out of the kitchen, dodging Roger as he enters.
Slow down there, kiddo.
He looks up to Caroline, standing at the sink, knows something is up.
What is it?
She steps aside, showing him the monkeys as Roger approaches.
Damn, is the ledge hot?
Not at all. And look at the clock. It stopped at 5:15. So did the one in the hall. Exterior, front of house, same. Andrea comes out of the front door. She sees an iron post pounded to the ground with the chain shaking off it. Sadie's tail is invisible, but a full view of her is hidden by a bush on the bottom of the stairs.
Sadie,
The tail remains motionless.
wake up, girl.
Andrea takes a step down to the next. She claps her hands together.
Come on, girl. Time for breakfast.
There's still no response. Andrea comes down the last step. She bounces. Her little lips start to tremble. And what she sees, Sadie lies dead on the ground, the chain wrapped around her body like an anaconda. Her tongue protrudes limp. Her eyes are dull white. Off Andrea's scream.
Ah!
Over black.
Fear is defined as a feeling of agitation and anxiety caused by the presence or imminence of danger. I don't care if it's a demon, a ghost, a spirit, or an entity. They all feed on it. Take Maurice here.
Interior lecture hall night. Ed and Lorraine Warren, early 30s, are up on stage standing behind a podium. An audience of 300 captivated college students are seen before them as rough film footage rolls on the large screen for a despondent-looking man, rail thin, late 20s, sitting in a chair, his eyes black, matching his hair. His skin is pastry red. A Catholic priest is next to him, reciting Latin from a Bible in barely audible words.
He was a French-Canadian farmer with nothing more than a third-grade education. Yet, after being possessed by a demon, spoke some of the best Latin I'd ever heard, sometimes backwards. He had been molested by his father, who also exposed him to bestiality. Evil found its home in this man because he was conflicted and forced into this. He never had a choice. He thought he was saving his wife by shooting her, like his father did to his mother.
If you look at his eyes, you can see them tearing blood into his shirt.
Maurice, white t-shirt, slowly starts to get blotted with dips of blood, dark crimson red. He suddenly screams out in pain, his body withering.
And upside-down crosses started appearing on his body.
We see Ed lifting up the side of Maurice's shirt, exposing from the camera 2 upside-down crosses pushing out of the skin from the inside. Camera closes it. The audience can't believe what they're seeing.
Yeah, that's good, Jerome. Why don't you hit the lights?
In the house lights back up, we see Jerome Davis, 20s, Ed and Lorraine, a technical assistant, standing in the back of the lecture hall. He has longish hair, wears cords, and a flannel shirt, a leather necklace with a peace sign and is draped around his neck. He turns to the projector off. Ed and Lorraine are in the middle of a Q&A with the audience. A male student with a tie-dye shirt and wild afro is standing up.
We investigate roughly 100 or so cases a year.
Cool. Thanks.
As Afro takes a seat, hands go up. Ed points to another student who wears glasses 4 rows back. He gets to his feet.
This is some creepy shit you two do for a living.
Subtitle laughs escape from the crowd.
So how do you keep these things from going after you? Well, we don't personally get involved with people we're working with or what we're investigating. It makes you emotionally vulnerable, which gives them a way in. And of course, our faith in God.
He sits back down, hands fly up again. Lorraine points to a female student with a ponytail in the front row who gets to her feet. She seems a little hesitant to speak. Then,
I wake up at night sometimes and it feels like someone's laying next to me. Have you ever dealt with anything like that before?
Many times. Does it scare you?
I'm a little freaked, yeah.
Freaked is normal. Do you feel threatened?
Not really. It's just weird.
Come here for a sec.
Lorraine moves to the edge of the steps, joining the girl who does the same.
Give me your hands.
The girl offers them to her. Lorraine takes hold, then closes her eyes a moment later.
The bed you sleep in. It belonged to your grandmother, didn't it?
Yeah.
And you were very close before she died?
Ponytail is getting blown away.
She raised me.
Lorraine opens her eyes.
It's her.
Ponytail's eyes well as she tries to contain her emotions.
You need to let her know that you're okay so she can move on. She still worries about you.
How do I do that?
With a gentle smile.
Next time you have that feeling, tell her.
Lorraine lets go of her hands. As Ponytail sits back down, Eddie nods to another male student in the front row, wears a beanie.
Yeah, I'd love to know what scares you the most?
Ed cracks a small smile.
Being married to a clairvoyant. It's not a whole lot I can get away with.
The crowd laughs. Ha! Exterior auditorium parking lot night. Jerome slides open the door of a van. There's a sticker on the window that reads, "When this van's a rockin', don't bother knocking." Yeah. He sets the projector next to an array of other electronic equipment, then turns to Ed and Lorraine, who are about to get into a Plymouth parked right next to it.
So, you like Chinese?
He looks at them with a cocky grin. I hate to bail on you, but I think I'm going to do some tutoring, quote unquote. Ed and Lorraine are slightly confused until Jerome turns and smiles at a young woman approaching them. It's the ponytail tall girl. Ed lets an amused laugh escape his lips as he gets into the car. Steer Perone house side of house day. Roger approaches a guy wearing incredibly dirty pants and shirt who's peering down a hole in the ground into a septic system. Caroline's been seen to the ground, tending to a newly sprouting, completely fenced-in garden. A scarecrow secured to make shift across the 2x4 stands attention in the middle of it. It's wearing overalls, plaid shirt, and donning a wig with shoulder lengths capped over a small pillow that has a crude face drawn. Roger's big rig is parked next to the barn. Rogers gets the guy who turns and faces him. His shirt name tag reads Carl.
Did you find the problem?
Carl looks to him.
Yeah. We're not gonna like it.
They teach you guys to say that, right?
Carl isn't humored.
It's the septic. Needs to be replaced. It's gotta be at least 40 years old.
This is not what Roger wants to hear.
Can't you just rig it somehow?
Someone's
Someone already
already.
used that one up.
So what are we looking at?
Carl
Hmm.
runs numbers in his head.
All in about 14 grand.
Exterior garden. Shit, I just lost my spot. Hold on. Oh, there you go. Exterior right after. A stressed Roger stands opposite Caroline, who continues to tend the garden.
7 grand for the new electrical and now 14 for this.
We knew there could be a problem, honey.
Yeah, but I don't know how much more we can afford.
She stops, looks at him. What do you mean? Roger takes a beat.
I got a call from Mike this morning. Because of this damn gas crunch, they're going to have to start laying people off.
Does that mean you?
I'm not exactly senior there.
Exterior garden night. A full moon spotlights the scarecrow like it's standing center stage. It's surrounded by a fully fluorescing garden. Tall rows of corn stalks, bright yellow squash, red tomatoes, and beans. Dissolved to an interior house. Upstairs hallway. Same. It's late. Caroline has a basket of laundry tucked under his arm and heads down the hallway toward her room at the end. She stops at the closet bathroom door, which has a phone running cord around the across the floor from the Cindy's room into it. Oh yes. School basically sucks. There's no cute guys and there's so many freaking bugs. Caroline just sighs as she opens the door. See Cindy standing in front of a mirror, phone to ear, comparing two different colors of eyeshadow, closing one eye at the time. Bed, 5 minutes. She closes the door. Cut to interior Andrea's room, same. Paper butterflies adore her hall. Stuffed animals line a small shelf above a vanity mirror and dresser. An easy bake oven and Barbie playset are lined up neatly against the wall. Andrea's under her covers in a fruitly posted bed head slightly by a pillow. She reads a book. A lamp nightstand next to her cassette, a 4-foot radius of light. Her body tightens as she catches a quick glimpse of something flurry jumping into her bed, but her book has obscured a full view. She slowly lowers it to get a better look. Friends, the cat she saw earlier staying on the foot of her bed. It's looking right at her.
How'd you get in here?
As she sits upright, the cat scurries off the bed and out of her room into the hallway. Andrea scrambles out, is under the covers, and quickly follows. She looks at her door in time to see the cat slip into Cindy's room just down the hall. Interior hallway continues as Andrea moves to Cindy's room. She can hear her sister still talking on the phone in the bathroom. Her mom is folding the clothes on the bed in the master bedroom at the end, unaware of her presence. Interior Cindy's room. Right after Andrea sits in the doorway, looking to see where the cat went. Her face is by a purple hue cascading from a black light hanging above a bed. Posters of the Jackson 5 peace signs and Alice in Wonderland all glow from the light. Scattered clothes litter the floor. The bed's unmade. Andrea can't see the cat anywhere. Then she hears it hissing from under the bed.
What's wrong, kitty?
Andrea comes into the room, over to the bed. She kneels as she's underneath her. Her eyes immediately fall upon a Raggedy Ann doll, seemingly staring at her. Scares her slightly. The hissing starts up again, but she can't see where the cat is. Her vision obscured by other dolls stuffed under the bed. She reaches her and moves a couple sides, sees the cat. But her breath gets caught in her throat. The black light has made its eyes look wide, almost demonic, as it stares at something that's seemingly right behind her. She snaps, looks back at her shoulder, but nothing's there. The cat suddenly bolts right back in her, the movement startling Andrea, who instinctively recoils. She watches the cat slip through a partially open closet door into the darkness beyond. As she gets into her fright, Caroline appears to the doorway. Hey, you were supposed to be asleep.
I saw that cat again. It went into the closet.
Andrea heads to it, a very curious. Caroline flips a light switch into the wall as she enters. Really? She joins Andrea to the closet, opens the door. Caroline reaches overhead and pulls over a light string, filling the large walk in the closet. Bright light. There's an array of clothes and shoes, but no cat. Caroline turns to Andrea. You sure?
Yeah, I swear.
It's not here now. It's probably just slipped out and we didn't see it. Andrea bends down, looking under the Cindy's bed again. It's not there. Come on, let's go back into the bed. I'll look for it. Interior Andrea's room right after as Andrea climbs back into bed.
When's Daddy going to be back?
He said he's going to try to make it home tonight. Caroline begins to tuck her in.
How come he's gone so much?
He lost his job, sweetie, so he's driving for anyone he can right now. We got to pay the bills.
Well, bills suck.
Caroline smiles. They sure do, sweetheart.
Will you lie down with me?
Sure. In the bed later, Caroline, who's fallen asleep next to Andrea, awakens to a distant scratching noise. She listens for a few beats. There it is again. She climbs out of the bed to investigate. Interior house, upstairs, hallway, continuous. She comes out of the bedroom. The scratching noise is coming from downstairs. She walks by several pictures of Cindy, Andrea, and the family together hanging on the walls as she heads towards the staircase. And now I am scared. Suddenly the noise turns violent, deep, vicious, scratches like nails across the wood. She slows her pace dramatically. Caroline moves to the top of the staircase, almost too afraid to look down, digs up some courage. Her POV, the cellar door, rattles up as impact as something continues to dig and claw at the door from the other side. Interior house stairs continuous. Caroline heads down as the scratching continues. Interior house downstairs hallway continuous. She comes off the bottom and step and guardedly moves down the hallway to the door. Just as she gets to it, the scratching instantly stops. The house gets church quiet. She listens intently, torn what to do. Caroline retreats momentarily back into the kitchen, comes out for a second later with a flashlight. She slowly gets onto her hands and knees, targets as one into the gap between the bottle of the door and the floor with the flashlight, then thumbs to the switch. The light instantly reflects off the two eyes boring right back at her from within the dark recess, but there's no human nor animal about them. Caroline freaks, recoils into a frenzied motion. She scrambles back to the kitchen where she grabs this rubber door wedge from the floor next to it. She ushers it back to the cellar and slams into it to the gap. What's going on? Caroline spins, sees Cindy and Andrea staring down at her from the top of the stairs. Stay up there. Dissolve to the big rig cab. Later that night, Roger heads down his driveway. His headlights capture Caroline looking out the driveway window at him. She looks terrorized, anxious. Smash cut to interior living room right after. Roger stands in the front of the open case, exposing his shotgun and a couple of rifles. He's quickly loading ammo into one handgun. Interior house downstairs hallway right after. Roger comes out of the living room right in hand. Caroline and the girls watch him from the top of the stairs as he heads from the cellar room, which now has a chair propped up on the other handle as well as the door wedge. Careful. Roger removes the chair and wedge gun ready. He slowly opens the door. Caroline grasps a deep scratches that crisscrosses the back of it. Roger stands still for a moment looking at them as well and then heads down a steep set of wood stairs that get lost in the darkness. He flips a nearby switch, wearing the cellar in the dull yellow light. Interior cellar continuous. Roger inches the stairs, alert, ready for he steps off the bottom step, pauses, gun out, eyes perusing the shelves of canned food goods and stacked moving boxes. There are no windows or other exits. He moves towards the wardrobe boxes, big enough for something to hide behind him. Closer, the knuckles on his trigger finger whitens from pressure. He kicks out one of the boxes. Nothing happens. Locks behind the other. Empty. Interior downstairs hallway right after. Rogers comes off from the stairs, closes the door behind him, looks up to Caroline and the girls who are waiting, who are bated breath upstairs.
There's nothing down there. The scratches were probably already on the door, and your light just was playing tricks on you. Maybe reflected off the railing or something.
I know what I saw, Roger, and I heard it digging at the door.
And I don't know what to tell you. Nothing's down there, and there's no way out.
Andrea's nervously chewing on her fingernails.
Maybe it was the cat.
This house gives me the creeps. We never should have moved here. Want to go back to New Jersey. Andrea folds into her mom's arms.
I'm scared, Mom.
Just stop, both of you. There's nothing down there. Now it's late. Just go to bed.
The girls walk away, leaving Caroline standing there. Roger shifts his attention to her, shakes his head. You think I'm making this up?
I think moving here has been a big adjustment. Maybe too big.
They solve two interior old two-story Victorian home. Ed and Lorraine move up a narrowly staircase to a second story. Traveling behind them are Rachel and David, a slightly overweight couple in their late 20s. Neither wears dress well.
It's always in the middle of the night around 2:30.
And they're different sounds.
Creaking and moaning like someone's in pain.
I think it's David's dad haunting me, trying to get me out of this house.
Why would he do that?
Because he hated me when we were dating. He told me I wasn't good enough for his son. He died before we got married, and he's the one who left in this house. He's freaking buried 50 yards across the street. I don't even like living here. It gives me the heaves.
Ed stops at the top.
And this is where it's strongest?
Both nod. Ed looks up to see an attic door directly above them. He pulls out a rope, opening it up, unfurling a set of attic steps.
We don't have to go up there with you, do we?
No, you can wait here.
Ed reaches into his pocket and retrieves a flashlight. Heads up into the dark abyss. Interior Victorian house attic continuous. Ed stands half in and out as he sweeps the interior with his light. The place is full of furniture, wooden trunks, boxes, clothing boxes. He continues up the creaky steps into the attic. Lorraine follows him up.
Ugh, funny how all attics smell the same.
Lorraine moves over to a broken dormer window where filtered moonlight pours in. It casts a blue light across the room. She looks out. Unfolding across the street is a large cemetery full of tombstones. Hundreds and hundreds of them are thick with wet fog drifts through. Ed's light falls at a cobweb-covered bookshelf loaded with dust. He moves it back at several unlike containers that have caught his attention. Lorraine joins him.
Forgotten relatives, maybe?
Ed uses his finger to wipe clean an inscription on the bottom of one.
No. First place, curling. You're not getting anything, are you?
Not a thing.
Interior attic right after. David and Rachel come up to the stairs with Ed. Both look nervous to be up there. Lorraine's staying over by the broken window.
I know a lot of people be creeped out by living by a cemetery and throw a very old home into the equation, and you're going to get creaking and moaning sounds, especially at night when temperature and humidity changes are the greatest and can cause some shifting in the structure.
It's not that. We would know the difference.
Just then, a moaning noise. It sounds like someone in agony emanates the room. Rachel grabs into David's arm.
Oh my God, that's it.
Do it again, Lorraine?
David and Rachel look to Lorraine, huh? They watch as she steps on two water-stained wooden floorboards that run near an old heating radiator next to her, producing the same sound.
See, right now it's Lorraine's weight, but add the moisture coming in through the broken window at night, boards are going to expand and rub against each other. You've heard it in different parts of the house because of the radiator.
So this place isn't haunted?
Lorraine shakes her head.
No.
You're not alone. A lot of what we investigate turns out like this.
Exterior Warren house night. Nice, well kept. Ed and Lorraine pull up into the driveway, get out of the car, and head to the front door. Exterior Warren house backyard right after. Ed and Lorraine exit door off the kitchen. Across a well-lit yard is a large chicken coop with a hen house inside, where their daughter, Judy, 7, carrying the basket full of eggs, is with Ed's mom, 60s. They're both exiting the coop. There's dozens so chickens moving about, and one of them is at their feet.
Be careful, honey. You don't want to let Gertrude out.
Just as they close the coop door, Judy spots her parents.
Daddy.
Hey there, pumpkin.
Judy heads the egg basket to her grandmother and races toward them.
Hi, Mommy.
Judy runs across the yard and leaps into Ed's arms, gives them a big hug. Lorraine sees she's got something dark smeared all over her face.
What you got on your face?
Fudgesicles.
Her little eyes go wide with great pride as.
I ate the whole box.
And Mom approaches all smiles.
Oh, not the whole box. I did manage to have one.
Hi, Mom.
He gives her a kiss on the cheek, then looks to Lorraine, half laughing. Passes Judy over to her, who gives her a big hug.
I missed you.
Interior, Warrenhouse kitchen later. Ed reaches for a phone hanging on the kitchen wall. As he dials the number, he smiles when he sees a photo of Judy on the counter next to him. It's framed in fudgesicle sticks and made to look like a church with a cross scribbled along the bottom is, I love you, Daddy.
Father Jordan, Ed Warren is on the phone for you.
Interior Cathedral of the Holy Cross office, same, walking into an opulent office full of antique furniture and religious icons is Father Jordan, late 30s. He takes a seat in the chair, then picks up a phone on his desk.
Hey, Ed. How'd it go?
Yeah, the house was empty.
That's good news. I appreciate your help.
You bet. Was your father any better today?
Yeah, we actually got him up and walking around. I think he's going to be fine. Thanks for asking.
Interior Judy's room night, Lorraine and Judy, who are now wearing pajamas, sit on the edge of the bed as Lorraine finishes braiding Judy's hair.
Grandma really snores.
Lorraine chuckles.
Come on, let's get you to bed.
Lorraine stands and lifts the covers. Judy slides in under them.
I missed you so much.
I missed you too.
Sleep tight.
Lorraine gives Judy a tender kiss goodnight and then reaches over and turns off a nightstand next to the bed. It's your Peroni house backyard afternoon, dark. Rain clouds threaten the leaves and the trees have begun to turn color. The garden off the side is now void of any growth. The ground bare, the scarecrow looks dead itself. And stringy hair drawn across the face by a small breeze. Andrea, wearing warm sweater, is kneeling before a small grave of the base of the tree. There's a wooden cross with the name Sadie written on it. She's pulling several weeds away. Cindy's helping Caroline take down some sheets from a clothing line as they ripple in the wind. Roger's rig is parked next to the barn. Cut to a Peroni house kitchen. Soon after, Caroline comes with the girls. Roger's on the phone. He looks tired, strained as they cross.
Glenn, I'm just looking for anything, man. I need to get something going on or I'm going to lose the insurance on the rig. That's half my rate and twice the distance. Yeah, all right, I'll take it.
Roger hangs up the phone, looks to Caroline, shakes his head. What's the route?
Fucking Florida. 2-week turnarounds. I start tomorrow.
She's shocked that he just cussed in front of the kids. Interior house, bedroom later that night. Andrea's in his head, sound asleep, pouring rain pellets against her window. Her eyes snap open. Its ears drawn back, hissing through expressed fangs, ready for a fight. Its eyes slowly tracking something moving just behind her. Andrea's peripheral vision suddenly picks up the outlets of two hands with only 3 fingers on each, pressing out from the within her pillowcase, folding her pillow up on the sides, closing her to her face. The cat hisses, then leaps to the floor. Cut to interior Peroni Hope. Master bedroom, same. Caroline and Roger are rattled from a dead sleep by Andrea's blood-curdling scream. Both scramble out of the bed to get to her. Interior Andrea's house right after. Roger is in the doorway. First looks and sees the beds empty. Eyes shift looking from his girl, but areas of the room are swallowed in darkness.
Andrea?
Caroline joins them. Roger hits the switch on the wall, shoveling light on Andrea, who's curled in a corner, hyperventilating with fear. The eyes are flowing as she stares at her head. Halfway later, Roger is pissed as he faces Caroline. Just outside there, where Andrea can be seen tucked in their head, now sleeping. Caroline's an emotional wreck, wipes tears with a tissue. Both speak in a hushed tones.
Demons peering in through windows, cold spots, doors rattling, voices. Everyone was fine until you started putting all this scared city girl bullshit in their heads.
Wow. No, I haven't. There's something wrong with this place.
And how come I haven't seen it?
Wow. I don't know. I'm scared to death, Roger. We need to get someone out here, a priest or someone.
To do what?
I have no idea. Bless it, whatever they do.
Yeah, that's just what the girls need to see next. Someone walking around here with a cross, damning everything out of this house. I can't listen to any more of this shit.
He heads downstairs. Roger, please. He doesn't turn around. Into your house living room later. Roger slept on one of the two sofas that face each other in front of the fireplace that's glowing red from embers. There's a coffee table between the sofas with a half-empty bottle of scotch. An nearby TV is fuzzy white, that is, until something dark ominous crosses in front of it. Roger awakes, sits up, rubs his groggy eyes, then raises, goes to the TV. Just as he turns off the TV, he hears the low, creaking sound of a door open. He heads down to the hallway to investigate. As he passes a grandfather clock, the time reads 5:15. Interior downstairs hallway continues. Just as Roger comes into the hallway, he sees the kitchen door closing. As he moves towards it, it starts to bang against the door, jam in bursts of three. Bang, 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 bang. Roger's mind is racing. What the hell? The banging stops. He gets to the door. The house falls into an awful silence. He opens the kitchen door. He looks inside. A nightlight cascading from a socket next to his thing kicks out enough glow to see that no one's in there. A soft breeze coming in through the kitchen with a caresses the curtains. His mind settles that must have been dissolved to exterior barn day. Roger's pulling out in the big rig. Caroline is standing next outside the house in a sweater. She looks soul weary as she watches him drive off, dissolve to interior Cindy's room. Night. Cindy listens to some music as he sits on her bed doing homework. Her bedroom door opens and her mom pokes her head in. How's the homework going? It's going. Andrea and I are going to bed. I'll be in a little bit. Later, as Cindy finishes her homework, her bedroom door begins to make a soft, repetitive bang, 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 bang noise, like something pushing against it from the other side. Mom? No response. Keeping her eyes on the door, Cindy slides out of the bed, moves over to the door. Bang, 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 continues. The soft impact barely rattling the door. She hits the brakes when she sees the shadows of something appear in the gap between the base of the door and the floor. Cindy digs a deep for courage, then continues towards it. She's a foot away, then banging suddenly stops. She waltzes in silent listening, and that's when the door slowly opens on its own. Cindy takes a cautionary step backwards, but nothing's there. She takes a reluctant step up to the door and cranes it, her head both directions in the hallway to look all clear. She sees that her mom's door is open a couple of inches. Interior hallway continuous. 2 steps in the hallway, Cindy pauses momentarily, reacting to some of the foul smell. She then moves forward, and as she moves about in her room, she stops mid-stride. Her face goes taut. She stands next to the bed in her apron of a woman, dark, molded hair, white skin, her body awkwardly hunched forward over Caroline and Andrea, who are sleeping completely unaware of her presence. The apparition slowly cranes her head towards Cindy, stares at her with a pupilless, no white eyes. She suddenly surges towards Cindy, lightning fast, passing right enough her body and vanishes. Off Cindy screams. Smash cut to exterior Catholic church, front lawn, Hartsfield Day. Simple white structure with a steeple. Father Thornton, late 20s, is getting ready to take down letters from the small glass and marquee based into the ground that says, "A church is a gift from God, assembly required." Excuse me, Father Thornton? He looks over to see Caroline approaching. Exterior, church grounds right after. Father Thornton and Caroline share a table under the shade of a large willow.
It sounds to me that it's far beyond just needing a blessing. Let me make a call to the diocese and see if we can get someone out here to help that's a little more qualified in these matters.
Caroline breathes a sigh of relief. Whew, thank you. Super. 1 week later, off phone ringing.
Hello?
Mr. Warren, I have Father Jordan calling.
Exterior Warden House backyard day. Lorraine is seated at an outdoor table and has a cup of coffee in hand. Eddie sits in opposite her. Judy is in the background and the small chickens in the coop.
I wish you would just talk to me.
I'm sorry. I didn't think it was that big a deal. It just sounds like this family really needs some help.
Lorraine lets her head drift to Judy.
We were in Maine last week, New York the week before.
Ed looks at her. He knows her too well.
Come on, what's going on?
Lorraine pauses, then
I'm just not sure how much longer I want to do this. There's always going to be another case, Ed.
he throws her a somewhat surprised look.
Judy's growing up so fast. We're on the road all the time. It was different when she was younger.
They sit still for a few silent beats, then
Tell you what. Let's check this one out, then take a break. See how you feel after that, okay?
Sure.
Ed raises exterior Warren's house Plymouth night. And Lorraine ride in silence along a lonely 2-lane stretch of road through rural countryside. The framed picture of Judy now dangles from the rearview mirror. Their headlights hit a small road sign, riddled with a buckshot that's posted for turn off just ahead Collins Taft Road. Ed turns, heads down the gravel street of road that winds its way to the trees of a mailbox. They turn in the driveway. Although it's dark and cloudy, scattered moonlight casts an eerie glow from the farmhouse. We see its Perron's light inside the house through the windows. The Perron station wagon is out front and pulls up and parks as they lights inside the splinter through several windows. The parents' station wagon is out front and pulls up and parks. As they get out of the car, he gets to the trunk, pops it open. Lorraine suddenly stops at cold. Her smile vanishes. She stands still, slowly scans over the property, past the house, the woods, the barn. Something definitely got their attention. Ed retrieves a handheld tape recorder and notepad out of a box in the trunk and closes it. Goes up to Lorraine. She shows him Marnes has goosebumps all over them.
So we're in the right place.
The two of them head up the walkway just as they are a slight turn. Continued Lorraine's POV swoosh. A black lab leaps right at her, its teeth bared as it snarls viciously. Jaws snap. It strains against the chain, which is tethered to a metal post driven to the grass. Then, resume Ed looks to Lorraine.
You're getting something.
Mm-hmm.
Exterior parents' house, front door night. Ed and Lorraine stand at the front door. It opens, revealing Carolyn stand for them.
Carolyn?
You found it okay?
Yeah, no problem.
The girls join her at the door, their expressions somber, soul weary. These are my daughters, Cindy and Andrea. And
Hi.
come in. Interior parent house foyer soon after. Lorraine and Ed with Carolyn and the girls. We catch them mid-conversation. In the last few nights, it's gotten even worse.
And these apparitions, do any of them have a smell?
Oh, yeah. The one I saw was horrible, like rotting meat. Ed glances to Lorraine. What? What is it, please?
It usually indicates some kind of demonic activity.
An elevated wave of fear washes over Carolyn and the girls. Oh my god. Ed's eyes shift to a couple of door handles that line the hallway where pieces of rope are dangling off them. It keeps them from banging at night.
Comes in threes. Bang, bang, bang.
Yep, she nods.
It's an insult to the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. I bet it stops at dawn.
Another nod.
God's light.
Do you have a dog?
Used to.
Black lab?
Yes, Sadie.
What happened to her?
The first night we moved in, she wouldn't come in the house, so Roger had to tether her out front. Andrea found her dead in the morning. She had choked herself to death on the chain. Lorraine notices the cellar that has been blocked closed with a chair and door wedge. She starts toward it, counting stairs behind. We don't go down there anymore
Why?
because there's something in there that keeps scratching from the other side. Lorraine gets to the door and pulls the chair and wedge free, opens the door and revealing tons of more deep, violent scratches. Lorraine hits the switch of the wall, lighting up the basement. Interior cellar continues. Lorraine heads down the stairs. As she steps off the bottom step, she hit with a bombardment of fast, hard-hitting images of 5 dead, skinless rabbits sprawled out across the bottom of a large cage, enthralled, dangling through the meshing. The leg on one of them twitches. The cement door flowing with blood. A large blood-red pentagram is plastered like graffiti on a wall. A cloaked figure is having sex with a naked dead woman, her eyes locked wide open. Other cloaked figures, faces hidden with hoods, are close by watching. A hypnomneurmatic needle pushes into a vein on her arm full of tracks.
Or a hypodermic one.
Oh, hypodermic, that too. Those are scary. Been pushed into a vein on her arm full of tracks. Shouted down, individuals standing upside down cross. A flash of guns muzzle illuminating the face of a heavy set woman as she pulls the trigger of a pistol with its barrel pressed under her chin. Resume. Lorraine looks sick and Ed comes off the stairs and joins her. She shakes her head in disgust at what's happened in this cellar.
This is bad, Ed.
It's off to interior parent house, living room right after. Ed lags behind as Lorraine follows Caroline and the girls into the living room. She takes a moment looking it over.
When did you move in?
About 5 months ago. Lorraine's eyes drift over the fireplace where she's hit with another image of blood dripping of the hearth of the set of long, narrow knitting needles swallowed in the red. She turns to Caroline and the girls.
Do any of you knit?
Caroline shakes her head. No. Interior house stairs right after us. Karen's, Adrian, and Cindy lead Aaron and Lorraine up the stairs.
Tell them about the birds, Mom.
It's the strangest thing. They fly into the side of the barn. Necks get broken, all kinds of them. Cindy looks back at Lorraine and Ed. And the things have been getting moved around a lot. The table in the kitchen was blocking the door in this morning as Karen steps back and landing. And the clocks, they stop at 5:15 a.m.
All of them?
Mm-hmm. Interior house stairways continuous. Ed and Lorraine continue up the girls toward the master bedroom. The walls are empty except for several protruding nails from each. We used to have a family picture, but something steps knocking them out of the nails, so I just stopped putting them back up.
And your husband hasn't seen any of this?
Carolyn shakes her head. Things only happen when he's gone. He thinks it's all in our heads.
He's not being shown anything on purpose.
Off her look.
It creates friction in the relationship, a negative energy for whatever's here to feed on.
Well, it's working. As they pass Andrea's room. This is where Andrea had the experience in the bed. Lorraine pauses for a moment, looking, notices that none of the pillowcases are on them. Interior master bedroom night. Where
was
master
the
bedroom night?
operation?
Lorraine and Ed enter, leaving Caroline and the girls at the door frame. On the left side of the bed. Lorraine walks over. Ed moves to her dresser, looks into her frame over the girls, then to a framed wedding picture of Roger and Caroline. There's another photo of Roger kneeling on the knee, posing next to a 12-point back to him, his rifle set across his arms. Interior kitchen later. Ed sits with Caroline at the kitchen table with his tape recorder between them.
I just want you to start from the beginning.
Carolyn, Ed hits the play and record buttons at the same time.
My name is Ed Warren. It's November 1st, 1972. I'm sitting here with Carolyn Perrin, who, with her family, has been experiencing supernatural occurrences.
He looks to Carolyn.
Okay, go ahead.
Head to interior Perone house family room. Same.
Heron!
Baron, thank you. Sorry. Is sitting on the sofa with Andrea. You notice that she's bitten her nails down to nothing.
Anything else?
Sometimes I hear a baby crying in the fireplace.
Andrea's eyes drifted to the fireplace, which is blackened and full of ash.
Do you feel like any one of these things want to hurt you?
Hmm.
Her eyes meet at Lorraine.
How do you know when they're around?
I get goosebumps.
When I get goosebumps, does that mean they're near me?
Maybe. Can you tell me what you've seen?
Lorraine is with Cindy, who in her arms wrapped around her knees, is all hunched up on the sofa. She stares off blankly. I don't know what it was. My mom thinks it might be what's been scratching the cellar door. Interior. Hallway night. Cindy, wrapped in a towel, walks out of the upstairs bathroom. She stops dead in her tracks, staring at the floor where, black lit by the moon, a tree lays shadows on it through a window in its far end. But it's not the tree branches that disturb her. It's that something is sitting on the branches with crooked arms, talon claws, and legs sprouted grotesquely from bulky torso. She forces herself to look out the window, but nothing's there. Dissolved to her parent house hallway later. Lorraine walks into the kitchen where Ed is still interviewing Carolyn. He pauses the tape, looks to her.
I'm gonna go outside.
I'm almost done.
Steer parent house side door right after Lorraine exits the house. She pauses on the landing for a moment, looking around, sees the scarecrow now standing in the empty garden, worn rather looking like someone crucified with its arms. Her eyes move to the barn, shadowed in the dark like some ill-boding beast. We can see that she is drawn to it. She steps off the porch halfway across the yard. She stops as it senses something, like she is being watched. She shifts her gaze beyond the barn, where a restless breeze has entered the landscape of motion. She lets it go, continues to the barn. Interior barn night after. Lorraine's about to open the door when she sees two dead pigeons on the ground, necks broken. She opens the barn door, looks in. She's sabers of the moonlight pierce through the gasps and the tired, dilapidated wood. Then Lorraine's immediately hit with another hard hitting image of Judson's on the ground, his bloody face smashed in. Resume. Interior barn continuous. Lorraine steps into the barn, continues several feet, and she stops, takes in her environment. An old Chevy pickup is parked outwards towards an elevated workbench. 6 abandoned horses stalls are tucked along the side. There's a ladder that leads up to the loft. As Lorraine turns to leave, thump, a set of bare feet come to a stop right in front of her face. The toenails are incredibly long, cracked, dirty. Lorraine looks up, sees a woman dangling from her rafters by a rope, her neck broken at an odd angle. She's in a long gray dress, and her scantily dark hair framing her face. Her eyes are bulging wide open and seem to be staring at Lorraine.
There you are.
Lorraine's eyes shift to Ed standing in the doorway. She walks toward him, literally passing through the dangling legs as they fade from psychic vision. Interior parent house kitchen later. Ed and Lorraine are sitting on the kitchen table. Carolyn in coffee cups. Lorraine's looking at the melted monkeys on the table before her. Do you even think she's the same one Cindy saw?
What was that, Lorraine?
I don't know.
When these things invade a home, it's quite possible that something has invited them here or conjured them up somehow.
I've asked the girls, but we need to know. Have either you or your husband ever practiced any kind of satanic worship or anything of the occult?
Carolyn's appalled at the notion.
That's Carolyn's line.
My God, no.
People dabble. I think it's kind of fun, play with the Ouija board, invoke things up in a seance, and can't get rid of them. It happens more often than you know.
With what I saw in the basement, this house is some sort of satanic shrine at some point. Do you know the history of this farm?
Just that it was built in some in the late 1800s. We bought it from an auction through a bank trust. We never knew who the owners were. I always wanted to live in the country. There was supposed to be this someplace safer than the city. It takes a moment then.
This house obviously has to be exorcised. But to do that, we need the church to authorize a priest to perform one.
I'm fine with that.
It's not that easy. We have to provide proof what you're claiming is in fact happening, and that can be the hard part.
Why is that?
Because it doesn't always happen when we need to.
So what happens if we don't get it?
We don't have the church.
Carolyn deflates. Interior house foyer right after Ed and Lorraine stand at the front door ready to leave. Carolyn's with them. Ed, who's holding the clock from the kitchen, looks at her straightforward.
What's your faith?
I was raised Methodist, I guess.
Have your children been baptized?
No, we're not really a church-going family. Ed glances at Lorraine then.
You may want to rethink that. Without faith, you have no protection.
Carolyn's not quite sure where Ed is going with this.
Our presence here could make things worse
Why?
because we're a threat. Whatever you're dealing with here isn't going to like it.
Carolyn floods with emotions all too much. Lorraine pulls her into an embrace.
Hey, this is your house. And Ed and I are going to do everything we can to keep it that way, okay? No one likes uninvited guests, okay?
Carolyn wipes away a tear.
We'll talk to the historian in the morning and see what we can find out. But it'll be a few days before we can get back here. We have to make sure our tech guy is available, and we also need to get someone to film everything for us.
Rand's attention is drawn to Cindy and Andrea looking down at them from the top of the stairs with scared, worried faces. And Tira warns home at night and pulls to the entrance of the Hertzfeld Motel, single story, maybe 30 rooms. Interior motel night. Lorraine is sitting on the edge of a queen-sized bed, the cradle of a dial phone in her ear, listening. She makes eye contact with Ed, who enters from outside carrying a small suitcase with a cardboard box with the tape recorder and kitchen clock inside.
Well, that's very nice of Grandma. Seeing as it's so far past your bedtime and you have school tomorrow.
He grins, places the box and suitcases on the dresser.
Yes, honey. Daddy's right here. I love you too.
She holds out the phone, who takes a seat next to her. Mouth she promised. Ed seems somewhat amused
Hi, Pumpkin. What you doing up so late?
while he listens.
Oh, Tennessee Tuxedo was on.
Interior motel bathroom later. See, close up on Lorraine in the tub filled with bubbles. When we see that her head is tilted back on Ed's chest, why is he soaking? Who's soaking with her, stroking her arms? Steam rises.
You seem kind of quiet. You okay?
It's just hitting close to home. Andrea reminds me so much of Judy.
I know. We'll get it fixed.
Dissolved to interior motel room later. Lorraine exits. Drying robe. She's a towel drying her hair. Doesn't like the look she gets from Ed, who is in clad pair of pajama buttons, sitting on the edge of the bed with the tape recorder in his hand.
What's wrong?
Carolyn's voice didn't record. Listen.
He hits play. We hear.
My name is Ed Warren. It's November 1st, 1972. Sitting here with Carolyn Perrin, who, with her family, has been experiencing supernatural occurrences. Okay, go ahead.
A long silence follows.
And what happened after that?
Another long silence. Ed clicks it off. Looks to Lorraine, not sure what to make of it. Into your parent house staircase night. Cindy heads down the staircase with a glass of milk in hand, with water cascades down the stairs above her and slowly crests her feet before moving on down to the next stair. She looks up, eyes wide, standing on the stairs. Several up her is young boy, 12, soaking wet, dressed like vintage clothes. His skin is stark white and rotting in places, and he has a non-stop flow of water dripping out of his mouth. Cindy drops the glass, it shatters. She screams. A second later, a very concerned Carolyn shows up at the top of the stairs. Cindy can barely show the words out, but there was a boy standing right there. She points there and she saw him. He's gone, but the water is still present and is dripping down the stairs. Interior motel room, a night light flowing out from the open bathroom door casts a light glow from Ed and Lorraine, who are sound asleep in the bed. We see a soft click, then we hear a tape recorder kicking on by itself.
My name is Ed Warren. It was November 1st, 1972.
The sound of Ed's voice is loud, snapping Ed and Lorraine out of the sleep unbelievably. Both set eye targets and tape recorders sitting on a small table near the foot of the bed.
I'm sitting here with Carolyn Perrin, who, with her family, has been experiencing supernatural occurrences. Okay, go ahead.
Whereas this part of the tape was blank earlier, it's now filled with an indescribable haunting whisper that sounds female. It continues until
What happened after that?
tape recorder then suddenly shuts off.
At the clock.
He looks their gaze locked up. She's staring at the pound next to the recorder. The time on it reads 5:15. They look at it transfixed. It never moves to 5:16. It's off to a Main Street, Hartsville day. Small town stores and businesses line both sides of the street. Light traffic. Ed and Lorraine are driving through. They pass through the Catholic church, the marquee in the front. It's like God give you a great day. Ed continues to another block, then pulls over, coming to a stop in front of Matthew's dry goods store. It's a simple with two large windows separated by an entrance. The second store sits above it. Interior, Matthew's dry goods store. Right after. What does SO mean? Oh, okay. Of a bell that rings when Ed and Lorraine into the store. Inside is filled with a potpourri of dry goods. Shannon
Potpourri.
Potpourri. Hopes. Oh yeah, I know that one. Oh God. Shannon Matthews, a woman in the late 30s, and a teenage girl are behind a long counter that stretches from the front of the store and sits leading upstairs in the back. A lava lamp sits next to a register. Shannon's busy cutting the piece of fabric from a customer when she looks up.
Ed and Lorraine?
They both smile.
Thanks for seeing us.
Shannon looks to the teenage girl next to her.
Maddie, finish cutting this for Mrs. Dornbooze, will ya?
Maddie nods and she takes the scissors from Shannon. Her eyes never leave Ed and Lorraine, neither of them, for what it's all about. Shannon looks to Ed and Lorraine.
Why don't you follow me?
She grabs a large coffee mug off the counter and heads to a set of stairs off the table store. Ed and Lorraine follow.
You gotta love my niece. She goes to school with the Perrin girls. She's heard about what's happening up there.
Interior store stairs continuous as they head up.
Before the Perrins bought it, that place had been empty for as long as I can remember. God, please excuse the mess up here. My Nana's been in the historian for almost 60 years, and when she got Parkinson's, things just sort of, well, you can imagine.
Here, Matthew's house, dry goods upstairs continues. They come off the last staircase in a large, disheveled-looking room-packed stacks of books filled with cabinets, piles of newspapers, and photos.
I took over the job, but I haven't had much time to put into it.
Shannon heads over to the nearby table that stands in the middle of the room, where pictures and maps, journals, and other documents are piled in two large boxes.
I pulled everything together for you I could find, but there's some stretches of time missing. I'll keep looking and send you anything else I might find.
Dear parent house, master bedroom night. Carolyn is getting ready for bed. There's a flare in the window from headlights coming down the driveway. She moves down the window and looks out. It's Roger returning to the rig. Interior kitchen soon after. Roger looks clearly irritated as he reaches for a bottle of scotch in a cabinet. Carolyn is leaning against the counter, arms folded, trying to stay strong.
I can't believe you did this behind my back.
We have to do something. It's getting worse.
I told you I don't want any more of this bullshit.
They said you haven't seen anything because it wants to create this conflict between us. Roger half laughs to himself as he uncorks the bottle.
Of course they did.
He pours a stiff one
And how much are they charging for this little investigation?
Nothing. She moves to Roger as he takes his hands in hers before he can lift the glass out of his mouth. I'm scared to death, and so are the girls, and I hate what they're doing to us. She looks at him in her eyes. Please, Roger, for me, please. It's here, Warren House kitchen, early morning, and enters looking half asleep, goes to the coffee pot.
You're gonna have to make some more.
He looks to an alcove of the kitchen, spotting Lorraine, who has all the info they got from the historians spread out on a small desk. She's holding a handwritten journal.
How long have you been up?
Since 4. Couldn't sleep.
She looks at him. There's an intensity in her eyes.
It's no wonder that family is going through what they are.
An old, very withered photograph of the parent farmhouse. When we see that Ed is holding the picture, a pile of others are next to him. He nurses a cup of coffee.
It's the original farmhouse built in 1863 by Judson Sherman, who married Bethesda Bishop when she was 19. She was a direct descendant of Bridget Bishop.
I know that name.
She pauses.
Yeah. She was the first witch hung in Salem during the trials.
True. Ed looks to Lorraine, definitely intrigued.
She and Judson were married. They had a baby, and when it was 7 days old, Judson found it sacrificed in front of the fireplace.
Ed can't believe it.
I'm assuming with knitting needles. Apparently, she ran out to the barn, climbed onto the rafters, and proclaimed her love to Satan. Cursed anyone who tried to take her land, and then hung herself.
Lorraine slides an old newspaper cutting and mounted parchment paper on the Ed, who picks it up.
That's her.
Ed looks at the picture. It's a woman of hanging from a rafter, exactly the same image and likeness of the woman Lorraine saw hanging in the barn, staring down at her.
This is the woman you saw?
She nods then.
Ed. She hung herself at 5:15 in the morning.
Oh, that explains.
That explains a few things.
Lorraine slides over an old black and white photograph of an obese woman sitting in a wicker chair, flanked by a boy wearing glasses and a girl who both look about 10.
And that woman I saw in the basement who shot herself? I think this is the woman who lived there in the 30s. Last name is Walker. She had 2 children who mysteriously disappeared in the woods. It's probably why she killed herself. I'm assuming those are them.
Wow.
And I'm not done. What was the original 500-acre farm has been divided and sold off.
She unfurls an old map next to her and points to a spot.
There was a boy who drowned in this pond. He lived in a house over here.
Her finger slides across the map to another location close by.
And a hunter who died in the woods, he lived here.
Again, she indicates.
There was a school bus accident on this road.
She looks dead, more for emphasis than anything else.
The only children who died were from the families who had homes on the property. 4 of them.
People who took her land.
Exterior Rhode Island, RI 2-lane road, sunset. Aerial POV of the Warrens, Plymouth, as it salmons its way country road illuminated by a brilliant sunset. It turns off to the parent driveway, parks by the house. Exterior parent house, driveway, same. Ed and Lorraine get out of their car with Bruce. Levi, 30s, clean cut, wears khakis. Gym built, muscles, gives his shirt a tight fit. They move around back to their car. Ed opens the trunk. Inside are 4 large bags of groceries, a cardboard box which holds Ed's tape recorder, the parents' clock, a Bible, a camera case, and notepads, and dozens of film canisters. Bruce takes a beat looking around.
Nice place.
Lorraine's attention is drawn by Jerome's van turning onto the driveway and heading toward the house.
Oh, good. Jerome's here.
Jerome drives right up next to them, climbs out. He is munching on a large cookie, smiles to them. I forgot how bitchin' Rhode Island is, and you ain't lying, pal. He notices Bruce.
Jerome, this is Bruce Levy.
Oh, the cop. Nice to meet you, man. As they shake hands. I heard you're not as much of a believer.
You might say that.
You know, you can't shoot ghosts, right?
Easy on him, Jerome. Come on, let's get unloaded.
Just near parent house front door right after a troubled-looking Carolyn has the door open as Jerome and Ed Bruce pile in, each loaded with monitors, VCRs, gauges, and various pieces of camera equipment, etc. And follows the carry box. Cindy and Audrey are looking down from the landing upstairs.
We'd like to do the main setup in the living room, if that's okay.
Yes, of course.
This is Jerome and Officer Levy.
Bruce is fine.
The shark. The guys nod hellos and move just as Roger enters from the kitchen. Ed and Lorraine, this is my husband, Roger. Even though Ed sees the doubt in Roger's eyes.
I hope we can help you out here.
Yeah, me too. I'll be in the barn.
Roger heads out the front. Ed continues in the living room with Jerome and Bruce. Lorraine and Carolyn sincere.
How are you holding up?
She's not. She's not. Jesus. Interior kitchen right after. Lorraine is standing right against the counter listening to Karen. Water was just pouring out of his mouth.
This is good.
Off Carolyn's surprised look.
We want activity. It gives us the proof we need.
All Carolyn do is manage a slow, reluctant nod of approval. Silent tears begin to cascade down her cheeks. Bruce enters carrying a bag of groceries, interrupting the moment, isn't quite sure what to do. Lorraine nods to the kitchen table, which has 2 baskets of folded laundry sitting on it.
Why don't you just put him over there?
He does, leaves. Carolyn looks over to the groceries. Didn't have to do that.
Are you kidding me? Jerome will eat you out of the house and home. Believe me, it's the least we can do.
Carolyn manages a slight smile.
Those have to go upstairs.
This meeting is being recorded.
Interior barn day. The door opens. A column of outside light slides in, barely scratching the Chevy pickup in the back. Roger comes in as he reaches for a wall switch. Camera's POV over his shoulder toward the truck. We swear this was the silhouette of a woman sitting upside, seemingly at a Rogers, but the second the light comes on, it illuminates a vacant interior. Resume. Roger heads over to the truck. Dissolved to exterior house later. Ed comes out of the house carrying a tripod and 35mm camera, heads for the barn. Bruce exits for a few beats behind him, spooling cable. Interior barn right after. Roger has a jack positioned toward the front of the pickup and is working on the end of the tire wrench to crack it up off the floor. There's a small toolbox next to the jack.
Nice ride. 55?
Roger looks back over his shoulder to see Ed coming in.
6.
283 small block?
You know trucks.
Roger finishes jacking up the truck. He flips the safety lever into the lock position on the jack.
My dad was had a side step with a big back window. Every Saturday we were working on it. So what are you doing?
Just repacking the bearings.
Bruce enters and continues unspooling the cable as he approaches Ed.
Well, don't mind us. Will only be a few minutes.
Knock yourself out.
Roger starts to unscrew the lugs. Ed mounts the camera on the tripod, takes the other end of the camera from Bruce and plugs into the side of the camera.
Does Jerome give you the EFD?
If that's what this is.
He extracts a small handheld meter from his pocket, hands it to him.
What's it do?
As Ed brings to hook it up.
Well, when there's an energy present, the needle on it will begin to fluctuate, usually between 1.7 and 3 megahertz, and that triggers the camera to start shooting.
Roger looks over to him as he pulls the tire off, sets it down.
And you've actually caught things on film.
Well, yeah, that's the point.
Roger quietly assumes focus on the truck, notices an oil dripping from the drain pane, rolls onto his back and scoots underneath to investigate.
So why are we putting one in here?
This is where the witch committed suicide. Hung herself from the rafter right above us.
As Bruce looks up,
Apparitions will at times manifest near their point of death.
at the very moment, wham! The pickup suddenly drops back to the door, emanating a harsh, crunching sound. Ed and Bruce snap, look over, and to see Roger's legs protruding out towards them from a small 10-inch gap between the barn floor and side of the trunk created by the now crushed toolbox. They rush over.
Roger?
Under the truck, same. Close up on Roger's terrorized face, pressed slightly against the bottom of the chassis. Another millimeter, and it would have been a different story.
I'm all right. Can you pull me out?
Resume. Ed and Bruce take a leg and pull him up. His body slowly emerges. Roger looks to them.
Thanks.
He notices the toolbox.
That was close.
Roger gets to his feet, picks up the jack that's fallen over, looks at it, then safely locks is now off.
Safety must have slipped.
We see by the look of Ed's that he thinks there's more going on here than that. Interior house, Cindy's room, same. Carolyn is putting clothes away in Cindy's drawers from the laundry basket. Lorraine watches. How could a mother kill her own child?
I was never a child to her. She just used her God-given gift as an ultimate offense against him. Witches believe it elevates her status in the eyes of Satan.
Interior living room, Lady Jerome is munching from a bag of potato chips while sorting through a spaghetti pile of cables that run from 7 different VCRs to 7 separate monitors, each labeled according to basement, upstairs, hallway, downstairs, master living room, barn, and the girls' bedroom. Cindy is standing next to Jerome, looks somewhat smitten. Jerome cuts a slice of tape with a pair of scissors and secures it around the cable, holding several loops in place. And what is that? A VCR, it's a video recording device. They think of these things will be in every house one day. Really? Why? To record what's on your TV so you can watch it anytime you want. That'd be so cool. Pretty far out, isn't it? She smiles. Interior house, stairway, same. Lorraine and Caroline descend to the stairs, each carrying an empty laundry box. They stand at the foyer where their attention is drawn to Cindy and Jerome in the living room.
Looks like someone might have a crush.
The edge of Carolyn's lips curl into a amused smile. He certainly looks like he knows what he's doing.
Top of his class at MIT.
And Bruce is a police officer?
Yes, Ed likes to use them as documentarians. People trust them. I think it's because Ed's dad was a cop.
Mom, can you braid my hair?
Caroline turns to see Andrea on the stairway behind them, holding a hairbrush and a tie. Oh, honey, I need to get dinner going.
I can do that for you. I do my daughter's hair all the time.
Lorraine hands over a basket to Caroline. They sit down to the second step, taps the one below her. Andrea takes the seat. Caroline heads to the kitchen. Lorraine takes the girl's brush from Andrea and begins to stroke the young girl's lengthy hair.
What's your daughter's name?
Judy, she's about your age.
And she likes her hair braided too?
Mm-hmm. We braid it every night before she goes to bed.
Cindy walks over to the living room, takes a seat next to Lorraine, watching her brush Andrea's hair. Have you always been able to see things?
Yeah, have you?
A subtle laugh escapes Lorraine as she gathers the hair in 3 sections and begins to braid.
Ever since I can remember.
What's the first thing you saw?
An aura.
What's that?
It's the energy that's around your body.
Lorraine looks at both the girls, weighing them slightly.
You both have beautiful ones, by the way.
The girls smile. The front of the door opens. Ed and Bruce enter.
I put the other one at the end of the hallway.
Lorraine and Ed smile as they head down the hallway toward another camera and tripod waiting to be set up. He looks a little uneasy with her interacting with the girl. She sends him a confused look. What? He stops as Roger and Bruce continue down the hall, waits for her to join him.
Excuse me one sec.
Lorraine goes up to her feet, goes to Ed.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Getting a little close, aren't we?
Braiding hair.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm fine, Ed. I'm just helping out.
It looks like he's not so sure, but lets it go.
Did you guys get all this set up in the barn?
Yeah, we had a little incident out there.
Off her look, interior living room, he enters carrying an ornament, hand-carved wooden case that he glances at Jerome, who is busy tinkering with a contrast adjustments on a monitor. The other monitors all reveal different parts of the house.
You getting there?
Still got to sync the EFD with the cellar and halfway cameras, and good to go. This little sucker here is being a pain in the ass, though. Ed smirks, sets his box on the coffee table, begins uploading several velvet wrapped crosses, setting them up, and notices Roger crossing the foyer from the front door.
You find the oil leak?
Yeah,
Roger sees the crosses. Ed looks to Ed curiously.
that's a lot of crosses.
We want to start things up.
Ed takes one of the crosses and sets it on the mantle above the fireplace.
See, the presence of religious icons usually brings on some kind of a reaction from anything unholy. Sort of pisses them off.
We set another on top of the grandfather clock.
Like holding a cross in front of a vampire.
Yeah, exactly. I don't believe in vampires.
Roger's amused and leaves the room and moves over to the coffee table where he sets another cross. Then, Ed, the tone in Drum's voice turns Ed immediately. Check it out, downstairs hallway. Ed looks down at the monitor. Drum's eyes glued on and sees, although the hallway is empty, the cellar is opening slowly. Right after all the parents surround Jerome at the monitor watching Ed, Lorraine, Bruce entering the cellar, you can hear a pin drop. Ed flips on the light. Interior cellar stairway, Bruce follows Ed and Lorraine down the steep steps of the cameras rolling. They set to the bottom. Ed takes a moment, looking around the basement, glances to the EFD holding his hand. The needle is bouncing just between the 1 and 2.
Something's definitely here.
Ed moves down to the basement.
Okay. Got our attention.
Silence.
Give us a sign you want to communicate with us.
Bruce POV, as he moves the camera around the room, not sure what he's looking for, settles on Ed. He waits for a response. Stillness continues to fill the room.
Close the door, move the jars, something.
Presume Ed glances to his EFD. The needle is bouncing wildly. They wait and wait some more. Interior hallway cellar room later. Carolyn, Roger, and Jerome stand at the doorway. Bruce, Lorraine, and Ed file out of the basement. Ed looks to Carolyn, reading her disappointment.
And like I said, it doesn't always happen when we want it to.
As Ed turns to close the basement door, wham, it slams shut with a bang right in his face. Everyone instantly pivots. Bruce looks most shocked. Carolyn shoots Roger a look who's not sure what to make out of it. Interior kitchen night. The clock on the counter reads 1:33 a.m. Bruce enters, sees Roma in a Tupperware container of vegetables from the refrigerator. You hungry?
No, still full.
Bruce moves over to the coffee table. What do you suppose they did with the salt? Bruce sees the salt pepper shaker next to the coffee on the counter.
It's over here.
He stands over the salt shaker. Thanks. Jerome hands it to salt the veggies heavily. So I'm curious. What do you think to slam the door and close like that? Bruce shrugs.
Had to be a draft.
Jerome is certainly entertained. Takes a bit of celery. That's funny. Drafts and giraffes never put that look you had on my face before. Bruce glances to him. That's why I dig the machines, man. They don't have emotions or beliefs that get in the way. They either pick something up or they don't. So if you don't believe me, why are you doing this?
Got a baby coming. $50 a day helps.
So you think people just make this stuff up?
I remember growing up with the boogeyman in my closet. My parents checked. They never found anything.
Jerome smirks. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Have you ever lost anyone close?
My dad. Why?
Why should you have? We should have Lorraine see if she can connect with him. Bruce can't hold back his entertained smile.
What part of I don't believe didn't you understand?
Jerome takes another bite. Were you afraid of man getting busted out for being narrow-minded? Appease me. Tell me something without revealing what it is. That's only you know. Bruce toys with the thought then.
Okay. I put something in my dad's casket. That meant a lot to both of us.
Lorraine enters. Jerome lights up with a smile. Your timing's perfect. Your
I was thrown by the whole conversation. Why is that?
Lorraine has opens up. We're connecting a little experiment. Officer Naysayer here put something in his dad's casket. Can you tell him what it is? He grabs a tab from the shelf and looks to Bruce for his approval. He appears skeptical and smiles anyway.
Sure. Why not?
Lorraine walks over and sets her soda on the counter.
Give me your hands.
She takes them, closes her eyes. Bruce seems a little uncomfortable after a long moment.
It's a baseball. It has something written on it. I can't make it. All I can make out is J and an R.
Lorraine opens her eyes, releases Bruce's hands. So, he shrugs.
That wasn't it.
She looks at it somewhat surprised, really.
Oh, well, must be turning something else then.
Interior living room later, Lorraine is seated next to Carolyn in front of the monitors, who's watching Andrea and Cindy called asleep to Cindy's bed. I think you guys being here makes them feel safe. Living room. Shards of morning light pierce through the windows, warming up the room with a golden light. Angle the grandfather clock kicks past 5:15 to 5:16. Warrenville, Ed, and Lorraine, Bruce, and Drain all keeping their eyes at different clocks. Not one of them have stopped.
All right. Let's call it.
Day 2, interior parent house, late afternoon. Ed and Lorraine drive up and park next to the house. The parents' station wagon is gone. They get out. Lorraine heads to the house. Ed heads to the barn. Exterior penthouse, front door, same. Lorraine knocks on the front door, but there's no response. She waits a second later, then decides to go anyway. She opens the front door, even though all the lights, and it's somewhat dark inside. Caroline, now wearing her hair down, comes out of the cellar door at the end of the hall, then walks into the kitchen, obviously oblivious to Lorraine's presence. Interior kitchen, right after Lorraine stands at the open door. Caroline is at the counter with her back to her.
Carolyn?
Carolyn slowly turns to her. Seems to take her a second to register it's Lorraine. You're early.
I can't believe you went into the cellar.
I wanted to get some soup going. Needed some beets. Lorraine finds it odd, but lets it go. Interior, parent station wagon. Parent driveway day. Roger drives his house and has the girls with him. His lights drag over the Warren's parked car. He pulls to a stop. As he and the kids come out, he notices the barn doors open, light on. He heads for it as the girls continue to the house. Interior barn. Right after, Roger walks in to find Ed working on the pickup. The front has been jacked up. There are 2 pieces of the firewood logged in the front of the axle for the extra stability. He's up his elbows in grease as he packs with the bearings.
I noticed you didn't finish the bearings. I hope you don't mind. Just looking for something to do.
Not at all.
Got any more grease?
Roger walks over to the workbench, opens a cabinet, and above it grabs a can from a shelf, pops it open as he heads to it, and hands it to him.
Thanks.
Roger grabs to a nearby wooden crate. Great. Takes his seat on it. Watches Ed work.
Carolyn told me you were going to be a priest.
Ed wonders for a moment. Does he want to share this?
That's the plan. But when I got to my ordination, I started having my doubts and realized I wasn't going to be good enough. I didn't have the strength they need. So I gave it up.
Roger takes a beat.
I can scratch my head till I'm bald, never figure out why you do what you do.
Remember as a kid being afraid to hang your head off the edge of the bed because you thought something underneath was going to grab it?
Roger nods somewhat skeptically.
Yeah, well, mine got grabbed.
As Ed
Something-
throws. Oh no, after you.
Something yanked me to the floor. It was too dark to see under the bed, and I ran my ass out of the room as fast as I could. So my dad didn't believe me, so he dragged me back in there and told me I had to face my fears. So I buried myself under the covers, scared to death because I could still hear it under my bed. Then I remembered what a nun had told me in catechism. God will be there for all who need. He is your protector. So I grabbed my Davy Crockett knife from my nightstand and got off the bed and told whatever was under there that God was going to kick its ass if it didn't leave. I just kept saying it over and over, and it finally went away. Never came back.
He looks back to Roger.
It's the best thing my dad ever did for me. Put my faith in God every day after that. I've been checking under beds ever since.
And finishes back in the Barons, caps it. Off screen, they hear the crunch gravel under the car tires. Roger looks at the bar and sees Jerome and Bruce piling up in Jerome's van. Interior kitchen later, Bruce enters a carrying coffee mug. Yawns a clock on the counter, reads 3:10 a.m. He sets the mug on the counter next to the coffee pot, pours himself another cup, goes to the fridge and takes a milk carton from the top shelf, closes the door, sets it next to his coffee on the counter, then turns to a shelf above the sink of sugar as he is reaching for it. A loud bang echoes from the fridge. It slams shut. Bruce spins, looks to it startled and confused as he's the only one in the kitchen. Then he sees the milk carton is no longer next to his coffee cup. A dripping noise draws his attention to the fridge where milk is now seeping out of it on the floor. Bruce slowly moves to it, hesitates a beat, then opens the fridge. The milk carton is back on the top shelf, but it's smashed completely flat. It's contents spilling out of containers. Interior living room right after. Bruce enters, looks to Ed, Lorraine, Caroline, Roger, who are seated on the sofas. His demeanor as well as the look on his face drawing their attention. Jerome looks over from monitors.
There's something going on in the kitchen. The milk carton moved.
Interior Peron's house right after. Bruce follows Ed and Jerome into the kitchen. Bruce looks to the fridge. No milk is dripping. In fact, there's not even any milk on the floor. Bruce whips a glimpse to the counter. There's sitting next to Bruce's coffee mug is the coin right where he sat it the first time.
I swear, the carton wasn't there. It was back in the fridge and smashed. Milk was everywhere.
Probably just a draft. I love moments like these.
All right, I get it.
As Lorraine follows Ed and Jerome out of the kitchen, Bruce lays a gentle hand on her shoulder, stopping her.
Can I talk to you for a sec?
Sure.
You were right earlier about the baseball. J and R were for Jackie Robinson when I was 10. My dad took me to the World Series. Yankees and Dodgers. $2 seats.
Yeah, it's a 14
left
minute
field. Jackie Robinson hit the winning home run, and my dad caught it, handed it right to me. My best day of my life.
Oh, you were? Okay. Is there a part 2 or no? Interior hallway, same for me. See you on the EFD meter on the camera tripod in the hallway. The needle begins to bounce. Part 1 through 7, then slams to the outer edge of the range to 10. The camera begins to flash repeatedly. The click click sounds of the motor driving, blending with the popping out of the flash. Interior kitchen, same. The sudden flashes of the hallway pulls Lorraine and brings attention back to the door. Lorraine quickly moves out into the hallway to see. Interior downstairs hallway continues. Another flash popping from the camera set up in the hall. Ed and Jerome, who have stopped at the bottom of the stairs, have their eyes glued on it. A second later, the camera mentioned at the top of the stairs starts flashing.
It's moving upstairs.
Ed moves quickly into the interior living room continuous where he joins Caroline and Roger, who has their eyes glued on the monitor as the camera keeps strobing through the dark hallway. Lorraine, Bruce, and Jerome comes up right behind him. Oh my God. They look at the monitor, showing Cindy's room. As he and Andre sleep peacefully, their breaths are freezing on exhale. That's got to be one of the fastest temp drops I've ever seen. Interior, Cindy's room, same. The camera on the closet starts flashing, strobing the room with bursting with white light. The girls start to stir intercut. It's really, really hard for Roger to stay still. Cindy's eyes pop out. She sits up, freaks as the intermittent light gives her secto glances of something staring right at her through the window. It's the beast she saw before as a shadow. She screams. Andre bolts upright in fear. Then the loud echoing sound of a slide bolt closing over and over joins the mayhem. It's coming from the closet. Roger can't stand it. Takes off the room. The slide bolt noise suddenly stops along with the flashes cutting the room back in the darkness. The girls dash out of the room into the hallway just as Roger gets the bolt folding in his arms. The camera at the end of the hallway strobes as flash the girls scream again, fearfully of what they can't see. Interior house stairs same. Ed is heading up. The camera at the top pops another flash a second later. The camera is down the stairs hallway, flashes drawing Ed's attention back down the stairs. He awaits more flashes, but nothing happens. Lorraine steps out of the living room and looks up to him.
Whatever it is, it came back down.
Interior, master bedroom night. Roger is holding Andrea and his arms sitting on the edge of the bed while Caroline is latched onto the Cindy cuddled on the other side. He looks to her.
Hey,
Her eyes meet his. He tries to say something but can't find words. It's okay. Interior, Cindy's room closet right after. Bruce is filming Jerome, who is holding an EFD out in front of him. As he slowly moves around the closet, he pushes the clothes aside to get closer to the wall behind. Ed is at the entrance unloading the film from the camera on the tripod. Lorraine watches. Jerome pulls the FD away from the wall. I'm not getting anything. Roger joins the group.
How are the girls?
better.
Ed looks to Roger.
They said that bolting noises definitely came from in here.
Yeah.
Is there anything behind this wall?
Ed knuckle taps the panel.
No idea.
Mind if we take a look?
I don't care what the hell you do to it.
Soon after, tied on a section of wood paneling, brief Pride pulled off the wall with a hammer. Wanting to see Ed sliding the hammer up and down along the panels seemed to loosen it. He finally pulls it back off the wall. Lorraine is the first to see a small 2x2 trap door framed within another wall that latches from outside via side bolt. A woman's very obese hand, fingers like sausages, aggressively slams it closed and slides a latch across it to lock it. Resume, Lorraine and the others looking for the trap door. Ed kneels down under the latch, slowly opens the door. It's too dark to see anything beyond.
Someone get me a flashlight.
Yeah, there's one in our room.
Roger disappears for a moment. Lorraine puts her hand on Ed's shoulder.
Let me go in.
Lorraine gets her husband and knees as Roger comes back with a small flashlight, hands it to her. She thumbs the switch, shines it to the other door. The light stretches into it, what looks like a narrow crawl space frame. Lorraine slips half her body inside, keeping the light shining ahead. Interior crawl space continuous. Lorraine barely makes it out, but sees the crawl space seem to open.
Looks like there's some sort of room.
Her flashlight suddenly dials, casting her into a total darkness. She palms a couple of times, gets the beam to shine again. As it points the light, the crawl space ahead, a young boy and a girl fall against a panic scramble toward Lorraine, passing right through her body. It's two she saw in the photograph earlier. Resume. Lorraine is slightly startled, but continues in the room ahead. Interior hidden room continuous. Lorraine slowly stands her flashlight quartering the darkness. Cobwebs everywhere. Reflects off the light. It falls upon a makeshift bed with an old dust-covered blanket with a slinky toy sitting on it. Lorraine picks it up, sees a wooden box next to the bed with the other toys. She lets her light wander, discovering the very wall is completely covered in the same phrase scrawled in the crayon over and over. She moves closer, sees what it says. I'm sorry, mommy. I'm sorry, mommy. I'm sorry, mommy. I'm sorry, right? I'm sorry, mommy. The rain stops, senses something. She slowly moves to the light off the wall and angles it to her forearm. It's covered in goosebumps, and for a second he skips a beat. There's something else she sees. The light cascading past her forearm to the door illuminates Bathsheba's dirty, crusted, bare feet striding her own from behind before Lorraine can turn around. She is aggressively shoved into the wall. The movement jars the flashlight and slinkly from her grasp and drops to the floor. Smash cut to interior closet. Same. Ed reaches and the nose immediately heads to the crawl space.
Lorraine?
Interior small room, same. Lorraine is reaching for the flashlight on the floor. And as Ed crawls in.
I'm all right. It was her, Ed.
She looks hard to him, definitely impacted.
I never felt anything so dark. We have to get her out of this house.
Got to interior closet right after. As Ed and Lorraine come out, Ed looks to Jerome direct.
Grab the cameras. Let's see what we got.
Downstairs, bathroom later. Ed and Jerome movements are fast and precise as they are busy converting the bathroom into a small room. As a photo enlarges the counter with the 3 solution trays lined up next to it, a small rope has been strung up along a shower rod as Jerome develops into or out of the trays. Ed finishes screwing in a light bulb and flips on the switch with the room deep in crimson. Interior living room right after. Lorraine is sitting before the monitors. Her eyes are on the one revealing the master bedroom where Waters is cuddling Andrea on the bed, who is sound asleep. Carolyn is next to him doing the same thing with Cindy, who is also asleep. Chirping crickets are croaking frogs in through an open window next to her. Continued. A loud thud pulls her attention outside to where she sees something flopping on the ground, the brain dust raising as if there was some sort of struggle. Bruce walks into the carrying of a cup steaming coffee.
Keep your eyes on the monitors for me, will you? I'll be right back.
Lorraine heads out. Exterior parent house right after. Lorraine moves toward the flopping movement, which seems it to be slowly with each step she takes. As she gets to it, the flopping stops, sees its enormous barn owl, neck broken, eyes wide open, dead. A compassionate look sweeps over Lorraine's faces until she hears a distant blend of voices, pained, fearful, full of anxiety. She follows them to the barn where, through a thick wall of trees and shrubs, she barely makes out beaten pathway and threads through. She heads in. Exterior growth right away. Right after. The voices begin to grow in volume as Lorraine walks in deeper into the growth, fighting her way through overgrown branches, following what's left of the pathway. She comes out in a small clearing to see where voices are coming from. Before her are surrounded by a crumbling stone wall and completely overgrown with weeds. Is an old cemetery with maybe 40 tombstones within, some broken, some toppled, some incredibly worn. The voices seem to be coming from somewhere on the other side. She moves into it. A wind begins to tumble in the pieces of foliage across the road. Then one tombstone catches her attention. The name reads Bathsheba Sherman. She moves into the voices get louder and louder. It's almost definitely then the voices instantly stop and things fall into an awful silence. It becomes unnerving as Lorraine senses something as a presence very close. She scans its surroundings, but eventually beyond is swallowed in the shadows of the night. She keeps staring, knowing something is just beyond after a moment. Lorraine turns around to Bathsheba Sherman's grave, sees something protruding slightly into the ground before it's a child's hand, half covered with dirt and leaves. The skin is white, nails crippled, full of grime, more leaves blown away, revealing more of a body barely buried. Lorraine inches closer. It's a young girl, matted, her clinges to the porcelain white skin on the side of her face. The head is porcelain, thank you. The head is turned sideways as Lorraine moves around to get a better view. She looks to a little girl's face, blanches it it's her daughter Judy. Then the exposed white skin begins to gray and continue to darken, becomes ash-like. The breeze blowing every part of her away. She chose poorly. Panic invades Lorraine's body as a slow realization overwhelms her. She takes off running back the way she came. Exterior woods pathway night. Trees, branches, claws as the rain closes as she retracts her steps on the wild scramble to get back. She can see the barn in her head. She blows off to the background overgrown and continues her sprint past the barn and the house, barely slowing to whip open the front door. Interior house foyer continuous as the rain dashes the house and heads to the kitchen. Brace looks at her from the living room, confused by her frenzy of the motion. Exterior house kitchen continuous. Lorraine comes right into the kitchen. She's out of the breath, immediately goes to the phone on the wall, quickly dials. Ed walks in, curious of what's going on, and he is about to say something, but she raises her hand to give her a second.
Mom, it's Lorraine. Is Judy okay? Can you check on her, please? Damn it, just check, please.
Oh my bad. Lorraine looks up to Ed, tears in her eyes, keeps the phone to her eyes.
You tell me what's going on?
It was Judy.
What do you mean?
I saw her out there. She was dead.
A voice comes back on the phone. Lorraine breathes a sigh of relief.
Thank you. I didn't mean to scare you like that. I'll explain later, okay? Good night.
Lorraine slowly hangs up.
The hell happened to you?
Lorraine looks to him, troubled, tears cascading.
I saw Judy dead in the cemetery. It was some kind of warning. I know it. There are spirits trapped there. I could hear them. She's dominating both worlds.
You gotta stop.
Stop what?
He takes her by the shoulders.
This. You know better. I warned you.
Something happened to her.
Come here.
He pulls into an embrace, gentle, sympathetic whispers.
You just can't give this thing any more strength than it already has.
Lorraine takes a beat, then realization is setting in. She gives the slightest of nods, knowing she's right. Roger pokes his head into the kitchen. Andrea, who's half asleep, is in his arms.
You okay?
He looks at Lorraine, then addresses Roger.
Yeah. You?
She woke up and was a little scared.
To your bathroom later. Close up on a pair of thongs onto the sheet of photo paper as it dripped on a tray of developer as the photo begins to emerge on the stairway. Witness see Ed holding thongs. Rome's busy taking an already developing photo out of the wash tray and clipping it onto a small rope tied into a shower rod. Both are focused. Something in Ed's picture draws an attention in for a closer look. A figure begins to materialize on the staircase. Interior living room right after. Ed hurries, sees that Andrea is asleep, curled up on the sofa next to Roger, who is stroking up her hair. Lorraine is seated close by. Bruce has crashed in the chair by the monitors. Lorraine and Roger look at Ed.
You've got to see this.
Interior kitchen right after. Ed, Lorraine, Caroline, and Roger are standing at the table looking at the photograph. Jerome stands aside, holding two more photos in hand.
He's the boy I saw in the hidden room.
Angle on the photo, though on the greeny transparent, it's definitely the same boy with glasses Lorraine saw, but he's at the top of the stairs heading down. Now check this out. He drops the second picture, although the same angle. The boy is now 5 steps further down the stairs. He's got a terrified look on his face. as he's looking back up over his shoulder at something at the top of the stairs.
What's he looking at?
This. Jerome drops this third photo from his hand onto the table. Before then, the image of the boy is gone, but at the top of the stairs is the dark presence of Bathsheba Sherman. Although grainy and transparent as well, her image is a lot more defined, and what it stands out more than anything are her pupilless, snow-white eyes.
Sir,
Roger and Caroline eyes are wide, transfixed.
Why would he be frightened of her? He's dead.
from our perspective, yes, but from that child, she's as real to him as you are to me. She may have died a witch, but she's come back with strength only Satan can give her.
Interior living room, same on the mantle where the cross Ed says topples with a soft click. When a second cross on the top of the grandfather clock falls on the rug with a muffled thud, a third cross on the coffee table joins suit. The noise stirs Bruce then.
Cindy, stop it.
His eyes shift over her, although she seems silly asleep, as think someone's messing with the back of her hair. Bruce watches in total shock as the back of Andrea's hair seems to rise up on its own. He slowly grabs his camera to document it. Camera's POV as groggy Andrea reaches behind and initially swats at something that's not there. Her long hair continues to rise.
I said stop it.
This time she opens her eyes and sees that no one's doing it. Her hair snaps taut as she aggressively yanked off the chair onto the floor. She screams as she begins to get widely snacked off all over the floor. Although Bruce drops over the camera to the side, it keeps rolling, giving us a view of Bruce moving over to Andrea and grabbing onto her. Presume whatever he has held in her hand is strong enough to keep moving on both as Bruce protected her, developing the young girl with his large body tumbling this way, then that way. Then when the two of them slammed into the coffee table where Bruce takes most of the impact, pieces of the wood go flying. Ed, Lorraine come running in. Ed joins the fight, struggling to hold Bruce and Andrea in one place. It isn't working. The fight continues. Andrea's wide-eyed, screaming hysterically, her hair stretched to its limit. Roger comes racing in. Then Caroline, who seems less disturbed.
Oh my God.
Bruce and Andrea hit the corner of the sofa, which pushes it forward across the floor, where they are immediately dragged. Once again, Roger attempts to latch on them. The strain on the Andrea's hair looks like it's going to be pulled out of her scalp until, whoosh, a pair of scissors slices right through it. It releases all the tension. The struggle instantly stops, standing over Bruce and Andrea's. Lorraine drums scissors in hand. Roger immediately pulls Andrea in his arms and looks a very distraught Bruce, whose face is bloody from a wound on his forehead.
You okay?
I'll take a guy with a gun any day.
Ed sees the light on the camera.
Did you get any of it?
Bruce nods. Exterior parent house, front sunrise. Ed and Lorraine approach one of the parents' station wagon, each carrying two suitcases. The first rays of the morning light pierce the horizon.
We didn't get the footage developed and bring it over to the church right away. This house needs to be exercised as soon as possible.
Roger opens the back of the car.
I'll get you paid back for the hotel.
Let's not worry about that right now.
We see the gratitude runs deep to Roger as he places the suitcase inside.
When do you think you can get someone out here?
Should only take a couple days. Listen to me.
Roger looks to him.
Under no circumstances does anyone come back here until we say so.
Terra Brown House, base of stairs, same. Lorraine comes to the living room. Bruce and Jerome are in the background breaking down the equipment. She approaches Andrea, who is sitting in Cindy's lap on the bottom step. The trauma is still apparent on her knees. It's hard for Lorraine to see this little girl like this.
It's going to be okay. Nothing's going to hurt you again, I promise.
Andrew stands to give Lorraine an unexpected brace. It lingers. Lorraine is first to unlock from the bug, but Andrew still clinches for a few seconds longer. Then
Hug, not
hugs.
bug.
Oh, that too. Oh, hug. It looks like bug on this side. Then later it looks to Cindy.
Is your mom upstairs?
No, she's in the kitchen. Lorraine walks to the kitchen doorway, appears it's empty. She notices that the back door is open. To her parent house back porch right after Lorraine heads outside. She catches a glimpse of Carolyn heading into the woods behind the barn. Exterior woods right after Lorraine makes her way through the woods, literally retracting her steps before as she approaches the clearing. She could see Carolyn sitting on the wall of the cemetery with her back to her. Light pierces down through the thick canopy above.
Carolyn?
Carolyn doesn't turn around. Lorraine slowly approaches.
Are you okay?
As the rain nears, it's hard to tell if it's the afternoon light or shadows are playing tricks with her eyes, but it looks like from the side view there's something off with Carolyn's face. It almost looks like another woman's. Carolyn slowly swivels her head to Lorraine, which seems normal now, but there's a distance in her eyes. Yes?
What are you doing here?
I noticed that Carolyn is holding the slinky she saw in the hidden room. Here, Warren's house Plymouth right after, and Lorraine drive along a country road.
She said she just wanted to see it, and she was holding the slinky I saw in that room. As far as I'm concerned, the church can't get there fast enough.
It's here, Boston Day. Hi, camera angles. Ushers down the Warrens Plymouth as they arrive across Bunker Hill Bridge into downtown Boston. Go something. Camera keeps dropping down. We're close enough to see the Plymouth Pool curbside too. Exterior Cathedral, the Holy Cross, Boston continuous. Ed parks in front of a very large, impressive stone structure. Parked roofs, sustained glass. As Ed and Lorraine get out of the car, they hear the soft, angelic singing voice of a young boy emanating from the open front doors of the church. They head out the stone steps to doors. They sing. The singing continues. Interior church right after. And in Lorraine, they are interrupted by its massive size. The center aisle splits enough numbers of rows pause, but up front, a choir director stands off the side during a rehearsal, and the young boy sings his heart out, and all boys stand silent beside them. Ed dips his fingertips into a bowl sculpted from marble full of holy water. Says it's silent prayer,
Prayer! Prayer!
then crosses himself. Lorraine follows suit. The two of them are approached by Father Jordan, and greets them with a smile.
Let's see what you've got.
Camera skewed POV the last few seconds with Bruce and Andrea thrashing about the floor. Just as she gets her hair cut by Roger, wide as we're seen where interior church Father Jordan's office day. Ed and Lorraine are sitting down. The Father Jordan's thick curtains are pulled across a paned window. Father Jordan turns off a projector next to him that's been throwing sequence into a screen set up against a wall. We see Ed's tape recorder on the table as well. Ed and Lorraine look to Father Jordan for his response. He seems a little stunned.
You weren't kidding. I'll get this to the Archbishop right away.
As the Irwin House front door evening, and Lorraine exit their car, Judy comes out of the front door, and Lorraine runs her, swooping her up in her arms. Ed's mom's in the background. She rose 6 days later. Interior diner day, lunch crowd, Don McClellan, American Pie plays in the background as Cindy and Andrea are sitting on the bar stools at a room counter, picking through lunch. One on the out of the earshot and seated as both opposite the counter is Roger. He's with Ed and Lorraine and looks stressed out.
But she said it'd only take a couple of days.
I don't know why it's taking so long. Father Jordan says that the Vatican keeps telling him to be patient, but I'm driving to New York tomorrow to see if Father Langston can find out what's going on. He's a high-level cardinal we've worked with before, and he knows the Archbishop pretty well.
I'm just so worried about Carolyn. I think all the stress has been too much. She's not herself at all, hasn't showered, doesn't wear makeup, is barely sleeping, and she just disappears for hours at a time.
Off their look, Interior Matthews dry goods day, a set of knitting needles are placed on the counter. Wine we see it's a very unkept Carolyn who has placed them wide to purchase. Shannon's niece Maddie is at the cash register, a little uneasy.
You need any yarn?
Carolyn shakes her head, no. Exterior St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City next day, a massively impressive structure of stone sustained glass and towering cathedrals. Ed is on the phone booth on the corner, the phone pressed to his ear.
Father Langston called the Vatican directly, and they told him it had been presented to the Archbishop. But there's some issue.
Issues? What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know. Wouldn't elaborate.
Interior Warren's house, kitchen same. Lorraine's sitting at the desk.
What are we gonna do?
I don't know. Look, I'm gonna hit the road before. It's gonna be midnight before I get home, as it is.
All right. Be safe. Love you.
I love you too.
Interior Warren's house, kitchen later. The phone rings. Lorraine enters the kitchen and answers it.
Hello? Hey, Jerome.
The doorbell rings.
Honey, I'm on the phone. Can you see who that is?
Interior Warren's house, foyer same. Judy comes down the stairs.
Okay, Mom.
She continues the front door, opens it to see a UPS delivery man sitting before a crisp brown uniform, holds an oversized smile envelope.
Hi.
Well, hi back. Would you be part of the Warden family?
Yep.
Well then, here you go.
His hands are a large manila envelope.
Have a nice day.
Thanks.
He leaves. What great service. Interior kitchen right after Judy walks in. Lorraine's still on the phone.
That's about to lose his mind.
Lorraine looks at her, sees the envelope, and reads the return address. It's from Shannon in Hartsfield. She motions for Judy to put it on the desk, which she does. Judy grabs a small basket of the kitchen counter and looks to her mom.
I'm gonna go get some eggs, okay?
Lorraine covers her mouthpiece.
That's fine, honey.
Judy heads back to the door. Exterior Warren house, backyard continues. Judy makes her way to the chicken coop, calls out.
Gertrude, Henrietta, Lolly.
At the coop, Judy opens up the coop door, steps in. She's surprised to see that there aren't any chickens outside the hen house, but something in the dirt at her feet catches her attention. She takes a close look. It's the slinky from the parent house, half in and half out of the dirt. She picks it, examines it, then puts it in her basket and heads out to the hen house door.
Gertrude, where are you?
More silence. Judy unlatches the door, swings it open. She steps in. Dear hen house continuous as Judy slowly adjusts the minimal light. Unbeknownst to her, its hen house door slowly opens behind her. Interior kitchen same. Lorraine watches Judy out through the window.
Hey, we'll let you know when we find out anything. Say hi to your mom.
Just as she hangs up, an ear-curdling scream from Judy erupts from the hen house. Lorraine's body goes tight, then kicks into high gear and races out of the kitchen into the backyard. Exterior house continues. Lorraine is moving fast as her legs will carry her to the kitchen coop.
Judy?
No answer. It's killing her. At the kitchen
Judy?
coop,
Judy!
Lorraine barely slows down to the outer door and moves inside the coop.
Honey, answer me.
She spins to the hen house door and tries to open it, but it won't budge, and she gives everything she's got, pulling as hard as she can. It finally whips open. Lorraine races in. Hen house continuous, sees Judy on her knees facing the opposite direction. She turns to her mom, rolling down her cheeks, has some of the chickens in her lap. It's not moving.
Gertrude's dead, Mom. They all are.
Oh no. Lorraine looks past her daughter. Dead chickens are everywhere. Oh, their necks are broken at obscured angles. Lorraine sees the slinky in the basket next to her daughter. Dread begins to see in for Lorraine.
Where'd you get that?
Through her tears, Judy follows her mom's side to the basket.
It was on the ground.
Interior Warren's house kitchen. Soon after Lorraine walks, Judy dumps in the slinky in the trash can. Interior master's bedroom. Night, Lorraine and Judy, who now are in pajamas, sit on the edge of the floor. Postage chef one canopied bed. As Lorraine finishes braiding Judy's hair, she has calmed down significantly.
Did you call Daddy and tell him?
He's on the road, honey. I'll tell him when he gets home.
Master bedroom later, a shaft of moonlight piercing through the window stretches across Lorraine's face bed. Lorraine's eyes suddenly pop open and startled. She looks to Judy, who's talking in her sleep, saying,
I'm sorry, Mommy. I'm sorry, Mommy.
these words chill her to the bone. She gives Judy a slight nudge.
Judy?
Judy doesn't awake, continues.
I'm sorry, Mommy.
Honey?
She shakes her head harder. Judy's words fade as she rolls over and sound asleep. Lorraine slowly sits up, uh, digesting the current event. She guessed someone is standing in the far corner of the room. It looks like Bathsheba Sherman staring right at her, but it's a ghostly image. It looks real. Continued keeping her eyes on the corner. Lorraine reaches her hand over the corner, flips the switch, illuminating the corner where there is no woman, only a narrow corner cabinet. Lorraine lets out a sigh.
Get a grip, Lorraine.
Interior master bedroom right after. Lorraine, now wearing pajamas, finishes washing her face, then exits, turn off lights. Master bedroom continuous. She walks to the bed where Judy is sound asleep, crawls under the covers as she reaches to turn off the light. Her blood pressure races north. The slinky she threw away is right there. The four posts on her bed begin creaking. She slowly looks up, stretches out canopy, and Bathsheba Sherman. The contours of her eyes, face, and body clearly outlined as she descends closer and closer, the force of which causing each of the bed posts to strain, bending inwards like they were made of rubber. Lorraine remains paralyzed, unable to move, chilled by the anonymous reality of this unholy spirit. Lorraine digs deep and finds some inner strength to get herself moving. Scoops Judy, dashes up through the bedroom door as the door whips closed right behind her. Exterior Denny's restaurant night. That's pretty scary. Ed comes up with the thermos, gets in the car. Interior Ed's Plymouth continuous as he sets the thermos down. The thermos down, geez, on the passenger seat. His heart skips a beat. The picture of Judy dangling from the mirror has changed. The cross is now broken, hanging upside down. Uh, Judy's eyes are white pupil, again identical to Bathsheba Sherman's in the earlier photos. Smash cut to interior Denny's restaurant right after. It is using the phone in the front counter. Come to interior Warren's house. Same. Camera slowly through the house. Everything is still. The only thing we hear is the phone ringing and ringing. No answer. Smash cut to interior Warren's Plymouth night. Ed's hauling ass as he slides and turns and pulls in the driveway into the house. Skips to a stop. Jams out. Interior Warren's house. Front door. Right after the door swings open. Ed swiftly enters.
Lorraine?
No answer.
Lorraine.
He sprints up his seat of stairs before him. On the stairways halfway, Ed takes that time, speeds to the top, then makes a hard right, heading for the master's bedroom. The door is closed. Ed gets the door, opens it. He looks to the bed, empty. He panic. Gaze shift about the darkness. Lorraine's not there. Ed continues down the hallway. Judy's room. Door is closed too. He slowly opens it, afraid of what he's going to find. He's looks to the bed, empty as well. His panicked gaze shifts to the darkness. Then they're tucked in a shadow in the silhouette of Lorraine. She's sitting on the floor with Judy in her lap. Ed dashes to them. Lorraine's got a Bible open before her and a rosary tucked into her hand. She and Ed's eyes meet.
What happened?
She doesn't say anything, almost as if she can't. Then
She was here. She was here.
interior kitchen right after. Ed moves into the kitchen full of anger. Lorraine's behind them.
Believe this.
Ed goes to the address book by the phone counter, quickly thumbs through it.
We're supposed to be safe here, and you open the door for her.
You made it sound like I meant to.
You know the rules.
Ed finds incredulous, sees the number he's looking for, and dials. Lorraine is near tears. Interior Bruce Levi's house. Study right after. A single light illuminates Bruce. He has the phone to his ear. Rain pouts against the window. His pregnant wife, same age, appears in the doorway, concerned.
I will. Did you tell Jerome?
No. Can't get a hold of him. He's on his way back from his mom's.
I'll get an APB out and have someone pull him over. Tell him to call you immediately.
Great. Be careful, Bruce. Do what I said and say it with conviction.
I will.
Bruce slowly hangs up, looks to his wife.
We need a Bible.
Interior Jerome's van, early morning. Jerome is behind the wheel, listening to an Eagles 8-track kickoff of Take It Easy. Early morning light is just peeking over the horizon As the van crests a knoll, he has to lock up his brakes, blocking the road before him is a horrible accident between a Ford Pinto and a Chevrolet station wagon. Skid marks scar the pavement, smokes the steam arise from both. Jerome holds the wheel tight, fighting for control as his van fishtails and slides onto the dirt shoulder. He clips the front of the Pinto, spinning the van into a 36 360 before it comes to an abrupt stop. He looks at the wreckage, sees that two teenagers are emerging at the Pinto, but the station wagon solo occupant, a man in his 50s, is slumped forward, not moving, and flames engulf the engine compartment. Exterior road continues. Jerome exits the van and races to the station wagon, passing the teenagers who are bloody and confused. Get off the road! He gets to his station wagon. The driver's in the window is down. His head is leaning the steering wheel still in his belt. Morning news flows from the radio. Jerome reaches in, feels and finds one. Looks at the engine. Flames are growing. Grabs the driver's door handle, but it's all smashed in. Reaches through the window to open it from inside and pulls the lever. It doesn't work either. He quickly moves around to get to the other door. The heat growing intense as he rounds the front and gets to the other side. As he pulls the door open, the radio continues to the background.
It's 5:15 for you early risers.
Skidding tires down out the DJ, Jerome looks to see that an 18-wheeler has come over to the knoll and his wall of metal is sliding right at him sideways. Brakes locked up and Jerome doesn't have time to react as well. Wham! The tail of the rig picks him clean away from the station wagon like he was targeted. Interior Warren House kitchen. Morning. Ed's on the phone as he stands on the counter. Looks frustrated.
I left a message a couple hours ago for Father Jordan. Is he back yet?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. We don't expect him to return until this afternoon.
There's got to be some way to get a hold of him.
We can't interrupt him. He's in a bereavement council.
When he comes in, just tell him it's Ed Warren and it's imperative that he calls me as soon as possible. He has the number.
Just as Ed hangs up the phone, it rings. He finds it odd but answers.
Hello?
As he listens, his face pales, his head lowers into one hand, grieving.
No. Oh, no.
Lauren enters, looks at Ed, immediately sensing more trouble. Ed continues to listen for a few beats, then
All right, thanks.
he numbly hangs up.
Ed, what is it?
He slowly rolls his head toward her.
That was Bruce. Jerome's dead.
Lauren couldn't have heard that right.
My name's Lorraine.
Lorraine.
What?
Car accident.
Lorraine's
Early this
eyes.
morning.
Oh, sorry. Lorraine's eyes well. Ed gets enraged, slams his fist hard on the counter.
Enough!
A wave of determination sweeps over him.
I'm driving to the church and I'm getting this exorcism done today.
She moves over to him as he's grabbing his key.
I'm going with you.
No, you're not.
The lack of faith in his voice stings her hard. He walks out the kitchen. Interior Warren's Plymouth. Right after Ed's sitting in the driver's seat. Just as he starts the car, the back passenger door opens. He looks to see Lorraine, who has manila envelope from Harrisville tucked under her arm, helping Judy in.
What are you doing?
Damn it, George. We're taking Judy to your mom's and then going to church together. I won't walk away from these people. They need us. This is what we do.
Can't. Too involved.
Maybe, but that's what gives me the strength to fight for that family too. I'm going.
The look on Lorraine's face leaves no doubt forehead that she's back on track. He nods. She closes the back door, then climbs out the front, dissolved to in the car later. Ed is driving as Lorraine reads the pages sent from Shannon. They pass a sign that reads Boston, 245 miles.
Between the Shermans and the Perrins living there, the house has only been owned by two other families. One was the Walkers, whose kids were the ones I saw, and the other was the Hikes. It says that they had a son who was drowned by his mother.
Underwater black and white footage of the boy Cindy on the stairs. His last breath of life escapes his mouth in the air. Trouble his mother holds him under a foot of water near the shore of a pond. The body goes limp. His eyes locked wide open, staring at his mother staying above the surface of the water, expressionless.
Who then killed herself.
the mother stepping right in front of the fast-moving train. It's brutal as we catch the glimpse of her body tumbling under the train.
My lord.
Lorraine looks at Ed with a sudden realization.
She possesses the mothers to continue the sacrifices of Satan.
Interior church office, Boston Cathedral office night. Ed and Lorraine walk right into Jordan's office, who is in the middle of speaking with Archbishop Father O'Malley. Distinguished looking himself, late 60s. Both are caught off guard by the intrusion.
I want to know what the hell's going on. We can't wait anymore.
Ed and Lorraine, this is Archbishop Father O'Malley. I tried to call you.
You've been on the road.
Please sit down.
I don't want to sit down. I want an exorcism performed today. What's the problem here?
Father O'Malley takes a beat. What he's about to say doesn't look so O'Malley. So cheesy.
The church is refusing to grant one.
And looks like he's been sucker punched.
The family aren't parishioners, and the children haven't been baptized.
So what?
Believe me, we've tried. But the Vatican is worried about public opinion if they were to step outside the boundaries of the church.
Tell the Vatican no one gives a shit. This needs to be stopped now.
Please understand my hands are tied on this matter. I feel horrible about this.
He is dumbfounded.
So you're going to do nothing.
Exterior Boston Cathedral front, right after a bitter Ed and Lorraine walk out of the church with Father Jordan.
We're just going to have to find someone else.
You're not going to get anyone to go against the church, Ed.
I don't believe this.
Father Jordan reach out, and Lorraine stops them, and their eyes meet. There's an intensity to his gaze.
You both have seen it done dozens of times.
Ed looks at him like he's out of his mind.
That doesn't make us qualified.
But your strength and knowledge of the scriptures can.
You've seen it go horribly wrong, even with a priest.
I believe our Lord recognizes faith far more than he does training and education of politics, for that matter. This family doesn't have a choice, but you do. And you have God on your side. If you want to help them.
Ed looks to Lorraine, both their minds in a whirl of limited options. Harrisville Motel night. Cindy and Andriella approach their hotel room just as Cindy reaches to the doorknob. The door swings open, revealing Carolyn standing right before them. Her dirty hair is pulled back and is wearing a long gray dress. She's even more gaunt and unkempt than the last time we saw her. She steps out, closing the door behind her. Come with me. Where? We're going home.
But Dad said.
He's meeting us there. Come on. Interior hotel room, same. Camera pans across the room and finds Roger on the floor next to a broken lamp. He's not moving it, and back of his head is bloody from a blow to his head. Interior parents' house night. Jeez. Carolyn is driving. The girls are in the back. They read in silence for a few moments. Then, are you okay, Mom? Carolyn doesn't answer. The girls look to each other, more confused. Their worry continues to escalate. Carolyn shifts her eyes to the rearview mirror, and for a brief moment, the eyes we see are not hers anymore. They are dark, menacing, soulless. Off-screen phone ringing. Interior phone booth night. Ed holds to his ear. Lorraine is in the Plymouth, parked outside the booth. Interior Huntsville Hotel, same. Close up on the phone, it continues to ring, rings again and again. A hand then reaches the frame and fumbles it to receive or grabs it. Wine, it's Roger, who's finding some pain as he holds back the back of his head.
Hello? Hello?
Roger finally answers.
Ed, she tried to kill me.
Where are the girls?
Interior parent, a car later, Carolyn turns to the driveway and heads toward the house, sits dark in the distance. You said Dad was going to be here. No answer from Caroline, who continues to the front door of the house and parks. She grabs a bag holding the knitting needles as she gets out. Cindy and Andrea look at each other. They can't figure out what's going on, and they reach their mom's the door and disappear inside the house, leaving the entrance completely open. Exterior parent house, front porch right after. Cindy and Andrea walk up to the front door with caution of the step. A chill chews on their spine. The cellular door at the end of the room is wide open. The deep scratches an eerie reminder of why they've kept it closed. The chair wedges and has been pushed aside. Mom, what are you doing? We should go. Still no response. Cindy takes Andrea by the hand and reluctantly heads inside the house. They go down the hallway toward the cellar, slow step after slow step. Mom, why are you down there? When they are down the step, they appear to see a vacant staircase. Mom, a slight shuffling noise is only response. Mom, answer me. Are you okay? The noise stops. Cindy's instincts are screaming at her to leave, but this is her mom. Stay here. Cindy tries to light switch, doesn't work.
Let's just go.
Cindy ignores her to herself. She heads down, stops halfway. Mom. Whoosh, a hand suddenly shoots out from between the stairs, examining her ankle, tripping her. Cindy grabs onto the handrail to keep herself from falling. She looks to the grab between the stairs to see her mom staring at her with those wide, soulless eyes. Hands still lashed out the front door. Cindy heel drives her free foot against her mother's wrist, freeing the grasp she has on her, scrambles back up the stairs. Interior hallway continues. Cindy whips up the door, closed the second she slams the chair into place. A loud, violent banging on the door reverberates right before her. The girls recoil on the impact, visibly trembling. How did their mom get there so fast? Either way, they're getting the hell out of there. Two steps into their departure, the cellular door flies open off hinges. The chair goes flying. Standing in the doorway, half in and half out of the darkness, is Carolyn, and her breath evaluated, almost her hissing on each exhale as she grips the knitting needles tightening on hand. Both the girls spin on their heels, race for the front door, which slams right before them. The girls scream. Cindy struggles with the door, but it won't budge.
Open it! Open it!
I can't. Move it through a side window, catches their window. It's Roger racing up the driveway. The pickup. Dead. Cindy. Sorry, cut myself. Cindy throws a panicked look over her shoulder to see her mom approaching. She goes her little sister by the hand and races upstairs. Exterior house, same. Roger slides the truck to a skidding stop. Dang. Poor kid. Roger runs to the front door. It's locked. Front kicks the crap out of the door until it bursts open, rushes in. Exterior, Collins half road night. Close up on police cruiser, lights flashing. Wine. We see Ed Lorraine traveling right behind Bruce Levy, who is driving a police cruiser, supporting them at the high speed. They slide onto the parent's driveway. Interior, Warren's car. Same. Ed and Lorraine see Roger's truck and his door open. Ed's still running. Its headlights are on. The light in the house like center stage. The cars skid to a stop just as they all get out. A gunshot echoes in the night as a muzzle flash pops from the bedroom window upstairs. Smash cut to Lorraine turns to Ed in disturbed look. Bruce is with them as they all head to the house. He draws his gun. Interior parent house continuous. Daddy, no. Eddie, Ed, Bruce, and Lorraine kicks it to high gear, racing up the stairs. Into your house upstairs right after as they come off the upstairs. Please let her go. Ed races down the hallway to the master bedroom doors. Closes. Lorraine and Bruce are right behind. Ed yanks the door open to see Roger as he rifle point blank at Carolyn's head, her arms wrapped around on Andrea in a death grip, holding her next to the bed. The knitting needles have fallen to her feet. There's scattered plaster on the floor from a flash bullet and the calling of above. Cindy is a short distance away, petrified.
Carolyn, let her go. Don't make me do this, please.
Roger, no.
He snaps.
She tried to stab her.
It's not her doing this.
Andrew struggles, barely able to breathe. Ed moves closer to who is barely holding it together.
Mommy, you're hurting me.
Mom, stop.
Carolyn, let her go.
Pulling that trigger is exactly what this witch wants you to do. It's another sacrifice.
Bruce moves into the door, closing in on Roger.
Roger, just lower your gun. Give it to me.
No. Carolyn, let her go.
Roger looks like he could lose it any second.
Roger, please. Give him the gun.
We see Roger starting with a decision, stares at Carolyn's mechanical face before him. She seems to be enjoying every second of this, tormenting him by pulling Andrea in tighter.
Come on, give it to Bruce.
Carolyn immediately puts more pressure on Andrea, who is now beginning to turn slightly blue. He raises it up again.
Don't give her what she wants.
Roger yields.
Better be right.
As he lowers the gun to give Bruce wham, he is kicked by Carolyn with such brute force that he flies backwards across the wall. Glass flies, gun goes sliding across the floor. Cindy loses it fast, and Bruce moves into the holding of Caroline. Ed gets a backhand to his face, draws blood. Bruce leaps the Caroline, bringing she and Andrea to the floor, but her grip remains strong, and Andrea continues to squeeze her life out of her, now more than ever.
Grab her arms.
Lorraine and Roger leech on their arms, stretch her over, and while Ed gets to his feet, extracting the vital holy water, dips his forefinger into it, crosses himself.
My Lord, you are all powerful. You are God. You are the Father.
Caroline instantly reaches, arches her back, folding her body into an upside down U. You get it. Ed gets close to reaching out, placing his finger on Caroline's forehead, making the sign of the cross.
It's a crucem domine fugite partes avertesa.
That's very good Latin. Behind it all, we hear Lorraine saying the Lord prayer, the picture of the fly of the dresser at sonic speed and disintegrating to the opposing wall. Glass shatters.
I beg you, Lord, through the intercession and help of the archangels Michael, Raphael, and Gabriel, for the deliverance of our sister who is enslaved by the evil one.
Cindy stands still, paralyzed with fear.
And potat extramen parte solte ejus.
Ed makes the sign of the cross over his chest, then flicks holy water. A guttural scream escapes Caroline's mouth, which looks like a spider web of saliva, and for a narrow second his skin becomes transparent, faintly pulsating. She begins to writhe and rotate on the wooden floor, taking anyone holding with her. Her body is unnaturally stiff. A sourceless wind erupts with the room, spinning everything around. Clothes and hair whip uncontrollably.
Sancta missa vere antichrista super capa repensense. Aut verte ejus corporio vertice. Obere ventia pericum.
Lorraine sees Caroline's eyes keep fading back and forth from pitchy blue to blue, as if there were an eternal struggle going on.
Fight it, Caroline. Don't let her take you.
The dresser slides across the floor, ripping dead scratches in the wood. It just misses Lorraine by a fraction as it plows her right by her, bounces off the bed, and frames her by the drywall. Lorraine looks to Cindy.
Help us.
Keep her away.
No, Ed. There's a reason she hasn't killed her. Carolyn's still fighting the possession. She can help her. Get her to fight this.
Ed pauses for a second, his mind racing, though limited options, agrees with Lorraine, nods.
Take her feet.
Cindy quickly obeys, holding down her feet as Caroline arches unnaturally contortion that would seemingly break anyone's back. Caroline then collapses back to the floor with a loud thud, but keeps a death grip on Andrea, who's now limp. Andrea limp in her arms, her face turning blue from lack of oxygen. Ed and Bruce frantically trying to pry her fingers off to Andrea, but she's too strong. The wind is intense. Lorraine looks into Caroline's eyes that continues to fade back and forth.
You fight her, Carolyn. Don't give up.
Please, Mom, please, you can't do it. Make her let go of Andrea.
No serpi sopraste diobili. Ab omni hasti visibili et uike de hac secunde liberatusor.
The bed flips up against the wall, windows blast open, the lights surge with power. Caroline gives one last burst of energy, muscles twitch and veins, but everyone holds her down. Then, like someone pulled the plunge out, Caroline stops and becomes limp, almost catonic. Her arms fall off Andrea, who rolls to the floor in a dead heap. Everything falls still, not a sound. It's over. Roger immediately begins to give his daughter mouth to mouth. Everyone watches, crying, praying, hoping. A cough draws their attention. It's Caroline, who is attempting to get her bearings. When she finally does, she's overwhelmed when she sees her daughter not moving. A small cough erupts from Andrea, who then takes a deep breath. Tears flood from her father and sister. Caroline crawls over them, stares at Andrea, eye to eye. Both emotional wrecks, pulls her into embrace. Roger and Cindy join in. Lorraine takes a beat, watching over parents reunited, then looks to Ed, goes over to him. Their eyes meet. She smiles.
It's good.
You too.
Long beat.
Still feel like quitting?
A slow smile goes through her limbs.
Not just yet.
Exterior Warren's house day. Ed and Lorraine and Warren pull up on their driveway. Judy and her grandmother come out on the front door to greet them. Judy runs to her car as Lorraine gives her a warm hug. He extracts a box from the back seat and hands it to her. She opens to the top, see 12 baby chicks inside. Off her smile, we fade out. The end. Over, Black.
The Perrin family left the house that day and never returned. They relocated to Oregon, where they haven't had any more encounters. Shortly after their move, their house was purchased by an anonymous buyer, whom Ed and Lorraine believe was the Catholic Church. The Warrens went on to investigate over 8,000 cases, and to this day, Ed is the only non-ordained demonologist ever recognized by the Vatican. It was 1 year later that the Warrens were called to Amityville. And that's the read. What? You did a great job. Even you, Travis, mispronouncing things left and right.
Yeah,
What's the family's name, Travis?
the Perron family.
Close enough.
Damn it.
Sort of, yeah. Anyway, everyone did a wonderful job. I'm not going to keep anybody late. Thank you for watching.